Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about
I don't think I've ever said this before.
Gets his fade up.
Okay, all right, folks, you just missed it. You would know why sometimes we're on time. It's because Adam just spilled coffee and tea all over the place. We've been mopping this place up, and it's not even a floor, it's carpet. But anyways, this is Adam's
PBD.
life.
But I did have a big update for you.
Yeah, the shirt is going to give it away, but in a minute we'll tell you all about it.
I won't tell you now.
A lot of stories, folks. A lot of stories. Elon Musk deletes his tweet about Epstein. We'll talk about that. There's a couple things that came out about other people, and Trump responded back to Elon saying he should want to call me. I'm not going to say, but you ask Elon if he's called me already or not. There's this back and forth, no desire to want to get back and build a relationship. A couple of the comments, a lot of people want to see the two find a way to reunite, but we have our own thoughts on what we believe is going on. We will definitely talk about that. Chris Cuomo's got a prediction of what he thinks is going to happen with Trump and Musk. And he's got another prediction about Joe Rogan as well. So we'll see which one's going to come true or not. Maybe we'll go to Vinny because Vinny looks like he's got some stuff he wants to say. Elon says Steve Bannon is a criminal in a new rant. And Bannon demands Pentagon investigate Musk's push for sensitive briefings on China. Okay. Gory details of Musk's rugby tackle of Besant spill out, like as if there was a fight with Besant and there was some furniture moving around in the White House, apparently. Some guy back in the days, a guy named Bernie, a famous philosopher, said furniture moving around. Trump sends National Guards to L.A. amid chaos in the streets. A lot of things are going on in L.A. right now with ICE, going after illegal immigrants. And there's so many people that I've known for years are calling me, telling me, Pat, you don't understand what's really going on. It's extremely sensitive. This is not fair. Some people that voted for Trump, they're not supportive of it. They can't believe this is going on. And it got to the point that even Gavin Newsom comes out and he says, here, if you want to come take me, come take me. I'm here waiting for you. Come get me. Come get me and arrest me. Yeah. How dare you arrest and take these kids away that are about to graduate and all this stuff. They play that card so flippin' well. Adam Schiff calls it not an insurrection because what happened on January 6th, to them it's an insurrection, but all the looting, damages to the streets, cars, cop cars, this is not an insurrection. It's peaceful protest, folks. If you needed confirmation from us, we're giving it to you that according to Adam Schiff and others, this is a peaceful protest. They even went after Kobe Bryant's mural with Gigi. Can you imagine, like, out of everything you're going to go do, you're going to go after that? That's what you're going to do? And then there's a guy that became the face of the riots with the Mexican flag where Tom is in love with Babylon Bees. A couple articles that came out. Tom will give it to you on what those two were. Palantir. Some people are saying maybe this is time for us to deploy Palantir, to go into LA and start investigating everybody and catching everybody. And there's a lot of people that are not comfortable with Palantir because they think this is RICO, they think this is Patriot Act 3.0 and all this other stuff that's coming. Kash Patel on Joe Rogan at the same time as J.D. Vance on Theo Vaughn. They're both on live at the same time right before Elon posts his tweet, and they both organically react to it. And Rogan pushed Kash on Epstein, and Kash kept going back to, no, nothing happened, and all this other stuff. And who knows, maybe we'll talk about that. Rahm Emanuel, who famously said, never let a crisis go to waste. He warns Democrats that they've become a party of punks who talk down to people and fret over identity politics. He's running in 2028, and that's one of their leading candidates that they're talking about. And the other day I was on Charlie Kirk. Charlie said, look out for Steve Kerr. He may be running in 2028 as well.
The coach?
Yes. Yeah, Trump says he spoke to Xi for 90 minutes on Thursday in trade-focused call, though outcome is unclear. Secret Russian intelligence documents show deep suspicion of Russia. Very interesting, by the way. This one thing here that we read. Very, very interesting. When you get a from Tom, you know there's a level of interesting there, Tom. We appreciate the sound bite. That was actually a button we pressed to make that sound. It wasn't Tom. There's an old video that I shared with Rob that you guys got to see, from Cat Williams, which is kind of appropriate with what's going on today. We'll cover that. Fox News tops all news brands on YouTube with staggering 362 million views during May. We'll show you where we would rank if we were on that list as well, but we're not mainstream, so they won't put us on that list. Riley Gaines issues fresh dig at Simone Biles, which, they're going back and forth, and Simone Biles got upset and said some stuff. There's going to be some stories there. Psychologists, folks, married couples, if you're here and you want to kind of make your relationship work, make your marriage work, maybe one day, be able to wear a shirt that says VT Dad, like the guy sitting to my right that does not have any kids that he knows about. But a psychologist who studies couples said, here's what people fight about the most in relationships. And number one will surprise you. Folks, you're in for a surprise. And in a couple of the stories I got here on addendums that Vinny likes. L.A. Mayor Karen Bass blames riots on ICE agents upholding law, insists city is peaceful right now. Bricks are not being thrown at cops at all. There's a video of paid protesters pulling up in a van. Rob, did you get that one that I sent you? Oh, wait till you see that one. Don't show it to them. I want to get their raw reaction, Rob, when we show that. CNN entities Trump's approval rating on immigration has gone up like a rocket compared to 8 years ago. Biological smuggling, U.S. arrests Chinese scientists linked to Wuhan lab. Vinny's got some stuff to say there. House Speaker Johnson, Dems who want ICE agents unmasked, mandate mask wearing for years during COVID. Can you imagine that? L.A. courts, Trevor Bauer. We have to talk about the Trevor Bauer case, at least at the end of it. Greta Thunberg. President Trump says Greta Thunberg needs to go take anger management classes with Adam Sandler from back in the days with Jack Nicholson. He needs some anger management is what he's saying, that she needs it. And an Australian journalist hit by a rubber bullet while reporting from L.A. Tom likes that one. I don't know why these kinds of videos Tom laughs at. You guys have to know, people like cat videos to laugh at. Tom likes weird videos to laugh at. All right. Having said that, fathers, dads, if you're out there, our weekend that nobody talks about is coming here. You know how crazy it is? It's to the point that for Father's Day, sometimes fathers don't get anything for themselves, that they buy stuff for themselves. They're like, I'm going to buy a gift for myself. And they go, this is for you, Dad. This is your weekend. And we know America can only get safer. Taxes can go lower if fathers do their job. Great fathers make this country safer. Great fathers make the economy work because they raise citizens that become great citizens in our society. And we have some special items that Chris, our model, is here to show you. But before doing so, our actor, very famous, legendary model actor, is in our commercial for VT Dads. I want you to watch this clip here. Go for it, Rob.
With those elbows.
Get that. Look good. The best dad jokes in town.
Bill. Look at that guy. Look at that stud. Oh, put that coffee mug down, dog.
Oh, my goodness. Look at that. VT merch, Father's Day. Chris, what do we have? Tell the audience what new items we have here.
Absolutely. So every item that we're going to show, except for the last one, is going to be $99 and below. So perfect gifts for dad. So we have 3 watch carriers here for dad. So super plush inside. First is cognac for the single watch. Future looks bright, always on the inside. Second watch, we have a double tan.
I love those.
Beautiful browns.
Yep.
Genuine leather.
Keep your watches together?
It's sick, by the way.
For the fathers that have the 3 black Future looks bright line shield, again, super plush on the inside, black on black.
Is that full leather, like
full genuine leather?
Yep.
Premium product. And then once we go into Father's Day, we know the stereotypical gift, always give dad a tie.
A tie that he never wears,
A tie that he never wears, but this comes with not just a tie, a matching handkerchief. You could see, zoom in there.
Handkerchief you could wear.
Lion shield within it, 100% silk. Last but not least here, we have our cufflinks tie bar set. We have 2, black and red. Last but not least,
you got to see this next
here we are, our set. For $49.99, you're going to have a beautiful, beautiful packaging here that you can see.
That's what, the wallet?
Wallet set.
That's the only wallet I wear. Look at this.
Pat wears this. I promise you. I see him have this on every day.
Yeah.
Now we're giving you a keychain with it, a little lion shield in there.
How much is the wallet and keychain?
$49.99.
That's a steal. I'm not going to lie.
And it comes with beautiful packaging for dad. We have brown, black, and we have a beautiful pewter gray.
Limited supply on the wallet.
Limited supply, guys. And then once we go into apparel, what screams dad is polos. Yep. Premium performance fabrics.
How good is that quality right there, Chris?
This, to me, is
insane.
any above and beyond. This should be $200 in any other retailer. You know we're about value here at Valuetainment. So beautiful maroon. This is personally my favorite. And then we have our white for our polo golf days.
With the gold buttons, okay.
And if you zoom in, our buttons
The
have
Viking
little
logo,
lion
that's
shields
sick.
within it, and then we always end with "Future looks bright" when you
Back.
walk away.
Look at that jacket.
Nice.
What is that jacket right
So
there?
this is for the super dads out there. You could see a stitched lapel, electric blue. We know that Pat loves electric blue. This is one of those energetic cobalt blue, exactly. So, and if you look in, we have our little lion shield buttons, inside interior taping with lion shields all within, lion shield branding. So every little touch that you see,
That's obviously limited supply by
Limited
sizes,
supplies,
so
guys.
be sure to place the order on that.
absolutely. And I will kick it back to you, Pat.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Kicking it back.
You got- that was like QV style, Chris.
I
That
love
was
it.
incredible.
Thanks for
Anyways,
that
guys,
kickback.
whether it's for you, whether it's for your father, whether you work with others who are fathers, get them a gift, surprise the hell out of them. Those watch cases are sick. The shirt is amazing, and the jacket for you. We have the sizes there for you to get.
I might go get somebody pregnant just to be able to be
Just
a
to be
dad.
able to
just
do that.
have-
Well,
yeah.
Adam just took one of the shirts and wore it.
love
Anyways,
it.
go to vtmerch.com, place an order, and surprise somebody you love who is a great father. All right, let's get right into it. Let's go right to California. Let's go right to California, Rob. So California is an absolute mess right now. Absolute mess right now. We have so many videos to show you to the point that we don't even know where to get started with. Rob, why don't you just start off with a couple of these clips? So the riots started because of what's going on with ICE being there, and it's not pretty. Gavin Newsom, originally, they're like, well, you know, everything is peaceful. I don't know why they're reacting. Nothing's going on here. People are just peaceful protests. Mayor Bass, peaceful protests. And then all of a sudden it got so bad that I posted a video saying, hey, are you guys at all going to say anything that you're not supporting this behavior? You're not condoning this behavior? And then one by one, you saw everybody blame Donald Trump for all of it. Rob, if you can go on Twitter and show a couple of things that I tweeted about Gavin Newsom. And one of the things that was, right there. So look at this. They're sitting there. Gavin Newsom tweets out saying, join LAPD and LASD and state emergency officials in LA. We respond to protests provoked by chaos from Washington. We're here to keep the peace, not play into Trump's political games. Now watch this. Go on the picture, Rob. Zoom in a little bit. They're not playing political at all. So there's one guy over there taking pictures. One girl's taking pictures. Cameras, just to show, like, look how hard we're working on this here, right? And then all the way at the top, I said, if you can go back, Rob, I said, hey, it seems you blame Trump for every crisis in California. California wildfires, Trump's fault. Empty reservoirs, Trump's fault. California $12 billion bill, budget deficit, his fault. Riots in LA, now it's again Trump's fault. So what are you guys going to be doing? Then he responds and says, I cannot believe they're sending National Guard against its people, Rob. Do you have those clips of what he's saying on, trashing Trump and just calling him out? I don't know which ones you got, Rob.
Yes, I have Gavin Newsom, where he announces that they will be filing suit against the United States government for sending in the.
Play the clip. Play the clip, Rob. Where's it at, Rob?
Sorry, it just dropped. Newsom.
Fast typer.
Is that the one?
Yep.
Back down here at the border, Tijuana, right
Oh
behind
no,
me,
I'm sorry. That's
San
the wrong
Diego.
clip. I apologize. That's the wrong clip. That's from
Okay.
2024,
I'm just
where
gonna
he asked
read,
for.
Rob, until you find
Here
these
it is.
things
Oh, that's it.
In the White House, there might be a television on, and he might be watching us
I hope so.
right now.
Yeah, he can learn something.
What might you say to him if I'll give you the floor. You have the opportunity. What you weren't able to say to him on that phone call or calls that he hasn't taken today?
Where's your decency, Mr. President? Stop. Rescind this order. It's illegal and unconstitutional. And I said it. I'll say it again. It's immoral. You're creating the conditions that you claim you're solving, and you're not. And you're putting real people's lives at risk. This is a serious moment, and it requires serious leadership.
Professional
and it's time
deflector.
for you to be a commander-in-chief of the United
Greatest
States of
deflector of all
America.
time.
And I will have your back if you want to work in a relationship of trust and truth in the spirit of our founding fathers. But you come after poor kids, you come after families, we will do everything in our power to stand up and stand in
He
your
almost
way.
did.
Governor Gavin Newsom, what time are you filing the lawsuit tomorrow?
Very early in the morning. I'd love to do it tonight, but we got lawyers working on the brief.
Tom Homan, the border czar, said to me yesterday he did not rule out literally arresting you, nor Mayor Bass, if you interfere in his words. He said you hadn't yet.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me. You know what? Let your hands off 4-year-old girls that are trying to get educated.
But let
your
them be
hands off these
transgender
poor
in sports.
People are just trying to live their lives, man.
Look, yeah, man.
Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes, been here 10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy?
Look at him.
Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me.
Tom.
Let's go.
Tom, go arrest him.
Wow. I guess not all the acting and filming has moved out of California.
Rob, can you actually show some of the stuff that's going on there? Can you show some of the stuff that's going on there? Tom really liked this joke, but show some of the stuff. So this is what, Rob?
This is rioters breaking apart pieces of the street to use as projectiles against ICE officials.
Are you serious?
Yep.
There's a playbook on this.
And there's another video. That's not the only time that they've done it. I have another video, and I also have Karen Bass as well saying that. Here, this is that video.
This is what? They're breaking it to throw...
Yep, they're trying to create chunks of rock to be able to throw at the ICE officers during the riots.
By the way, there's a playbook for this. Humberto had a couple links where they say that to
Venezuela
to
and Chile?
Yep, to aid the agitators, all you do is run up and down and then track the agitators to the street so they can pick up these and then throw at the police motorcades. This is a playbook item.
Can you show the clips, Rob, of them throwing stuff at the U.S. Marshal? You know which one I'm talking about?
This is the one.
Yeah,
he's
this
gone.
One. Watch this.
They found who
Did
he is.
they?
Yep, they identified
this guy right here.
Scumbag. Yep.
Good, and he's got a helmet on. So
yeah.
And you see those so that's water conservation area, Pat. So instead of grass, they put the sand and the rocks there to conserve on water use on public medians. And this guy's just digging them up with a screwdriver and then taking those rocks that you can see right there, and boom. It's just like he's like in the bullpen, relief pitching. Here we go.
So, Gavin Newsom, is this peaceful protesting? Is this? Rob, what else do we have? So they called National Guard.
And just to let you know, Pat, that guy, according to U.S. Attorney Bill, the FBI believes the rock thrower, this is them, is Elipidio Reina. E-L-P-I-D-I.
What's his background?
I would say, if I had to guess, he's a Mexican dude.
This is L.A. This looks like out of a movie,
Yeah,
by
but
the
that's
way.
peaceful, Pat. You never see, they're barbecuing.
And what are those cars, Rob?
Those are the Waymos.
Those are the Waymos.
Waymo taxis. These weren't cops. They just stopped these things. These were Waymos that were empty and supposedly, apparently going back to like the Waymo depot, where the little, driverless taxis park.
Yeah.
And these people stood in front of them, and the taxi's radar stopped it. They started spray painting on it and lit them on fire just because. There was no cops. There was no person in that.
What is this, Rob?
This is rioters shooting what looks like mortar rounds at the ICE agents yesterday.
It looks like a movie set, doesn't it?
Seriously?
It looks like a movie set. Oh, yeah, they're throwing fireworks. That by the way, is dangerous as hell. People have blown their hands off from freaking
It's almost like
fireworks.
they're near Hollywood and they know how to
Take a
script
look
these
at
kind
this.
of things.
Black
Yeah,
shirts,
weird.
face masks, gas masks, backpacks, cameras. This is set up. They send 3 agitators and a cameraman. It's like a news crew, Pat.
Yep.
And here's the 101 freeway in downtown Los Angeles shut down as the rioters take over the streets.
By the way, this is programmatic. I'm going to show you something, Pat, that you haven't seen so I can get an instant reaction from you.
Yeah.
The text that I just sent you, Rob, pop that up. There is anonymous accounts on Craigslist. Here, pop it up.
Yep. It is.
Take a look at this. Anonymous accounts on, you got it?
Yep.
On Craigslist, looking for the toughest badasses in the city of Los Angeles, 6,500 to 12,000 per week, and they describe exactly what you're going to do. You're going to kick ass. You're going to do this. We'll give you high pressure, no risk, no room for hesitation. Need individuals who do not break, panic, or fold under stress. They're recruiting people to be part of the.
How do you know this is tied to that?
The response is from L.A. And they took it down. It went.
They took it down last
all
night.
over in L.A.
But how do you know? How do you know this is them though? So they're asking these guys to go do the damages
in
to
the area.
This supposedly popped up 2 days ago.
Let me read it. Physical. No. We are forming select tough in this unit will be activated when the situation demands. But you get paid every week, no matter what. High pressure, high risk, no room for hesitation. We need individuals who do not break, panic, or fold under stress, and are basically all around kick-ass dudes. Physical strength, speed conditioning is important, but mental toughness is everything. If you're the biggest guy in the room, but you're the one people follow when things go bad, that's who we're looking for. We're recruiting those who are already hard badasses and ready to confrontation whenever necessary. However, we can train you if necessary. What we're looking for, mental toughness, you keep level head pressure, bravery. Okay, is there a phone number? Is there a phone number?
No, it was a Craigslist link.
It's a Craigslist link to an anonymous email, and it got pulled down.
And now this
when
is
it
what
was
happens when you go on.
circulated.
It says this post has been removed.
It got
It's been removed.
circulated.
Somebody-
Law enforcement circulated it, and also alert people circulated it on X. And then all of a sudden, whoop, it goes down.
Is there a phone number to call where we can call them right now to see
No,
what
they
they
took
say?
it down. I wish
You just called George
'Cause I'm an
Soros' office.
818
He
phone
answers
number. I'd
and
love
you're
to
there.
call them to see what they're going to be saying.
Normally, what you do is you'll click that reply link, and then it'll send an email. But the email is usually
It's gone.
registered to a Craigslist
This
account.
website, this is Craigslist.
Yes.
Craigslist still in business?
Yeah, of course.
Really? Wow.
I'm
okay.
interested about it. Maybe we should, Rob, if you have a chance, look for like, are they looking for protesters, searching for protesters on Craigslist?
Well, there's an older video from 7 weeks ago that if you look at this exists. For some people that don't think this exists. Watch this video here. They're protesting a complete different thing. Now watch these guys. You tell me if these guys are paid or not. Go ahead.
Hi. Well, I'm just documenting you guys putting all your protest stuff in a van. It's very nice of you. How far did you travel to come to protest today?
That's not really your concern.
Then why do you have like a van full of stuff? People
Well, you
wearing
might know that
masks.
there's a road here.
Yeah, no.
Roads are great for transporting things and traveling.
Look at these people.
Just, I can videotape on a sidewalk, so.
No, I'm gonna stop you from videotaping it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna interrupt you guys.
I'm just trying to understand.
Just interesting. You guys are putting everything in a van, and you're getting really mad about it. That looks really suspicious.
I'm just trying to make sure that you have, all the answers that you would.
Are you guys paid?
So.
How much did
Watch the eyes.
Soros or Reid Hoffman pay you to come protest
Watch the
Trump
eyes.
today? Come on. Was it good?
Pause.
Did you get paid well?
You see that?
the eyes,
So this
Chico.
exists.
It's in
This
the
exists. And by the way, wasn't there a guy that, either wanted to come on the podcast or we talked about a Rob, whose business model is this? Do you remember that one guy who does pay protesters to go out there and make some noise? And what is that? What is Bass saying, by the way? Is there something with Bass?
So there's a few clips. Here's one where she actually blames the ICE immigration officials for the riots.
Go for it.
Just have to say that if you dial back time and go to Friday, if immigration raids had not happened here, we would not have the disorder that went on last night. I will tell you that it is peaceful now, but we do not know where and when the next raids will be. That is the concern, because people in the city have a rapid response network. If they see ICE, they go out and they protest. And so it's just a recipe for pandemonium that is completely unnecessary. Nothing was happening here. Los Angeles was peaceful
Nothing was
before
happening
Friday.
here. Right, for sure. Rob, do you have the National Guard being sent out? And there's a clip of a National Guard. Is this National Guard? Or-
Yes. Here.
If you can show a clip. So they sent National Guard down. Okay? And this is when stuff gets serious. Where they're like, okay, we cannot mess with these guys. Look at this.
And
this looks like Venezuela. This looks like a different country. This is America, folks.
And those are tear gas and flashbangs, by the way. Those are not
Grenades. They're
correct. And the ones that have like the triangular bubble on top, those are high velocity paintball that has CS gas in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And tear gas.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into this. Tom, your thoughts on this here, and what is the solution? Because as of right now, you hear the U.S. government. Do you have the famous Mexican flag guy that's all the way up, Rob?
Yes.
Who's becoming the face of the whole thing? You know which one I'm talking about? Who's?
Yeah. I believe it is just a photo. Hang on one second.
And I just sent Rob something.
Here it is.
Yeah. That's the guy that's the guy. And I think they found
No,
this
there's
guy.
another guy with shirt off.
one,
There's
yeah.
one without a shirt on.
Standing
the guy
on
standing up. Yes.
on a car that's been.
Rob, I just sent it to you. But
Yeah, you'll find it. You'll find it. But Tom, your thoughts on everything that's going on? Because I got a
main guy,
lot of
Rob.
thoughts on this.
So my first thought is this is constructed. So remember, whenever the Democrats speak about this stuff, they're usually accusing you of what they're doing. This is what happened. The ICE raids started in LA, and there is a documented list of the criminal elements that were raided, and that led to certain protests starting. But then right on cue, you have Karen Bass and also Governor Newsom, and I'll pronounce his name right out of respect, said that they accused the government escalated it. No, the government didn't. These were paid agitators. This was highly organized. This was not organic, and that all the boil over of the pot was happening in LA before the president said anything. And then they blame the president. This is their playbook. Hey, when they start the raids next week, the paid agitators will come out. We're going to have that in place. And then the government's going to have to respond, and we're going to blame them for the escalation. It's a simple playbook. I believe that Craigslist post is exactly what it purports to be. I believe that. And I also believe what I see when you folks getting out of the cars here, we can see the paid agitators. We know that after George Floyd, that in Portland, Oregon, that there was Antifa that were actually paid by a secondary resource. We have it. We know it. That's what's happening now. And I think that what Newsom is doing is driving a wedge. I got a connect from a guy that says, hey, will you cover on the podcast that there are a lot of us that are Latinos in LA? They're very frustrated by this because we think it's bringing a bad look to all Latinos. And there are those of us that are citizens that have assimilated multi-generation now into LA, and we're living peacefully. And when this happens, suspicion comes to us, which sucks. And we're against it because we don't want the unfettered immigration that brings a criminal element in either, because they come to our neighborhoods first because we speak Spanish and they can assimilate. Mm-hmm. So the bad guys actually come first to the neighborhoods of the Hispanics who are living peacefully because that's where they blend in. So I think this whole thing was planned, and it disgusts me to see it politicized. The people who are politicizing it are Karen Bass and Governor Newsom. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco has said that he said, look, this is an embarrassment. He talked about the statement that was made by Kamala Harris. He said, this is an embarrassment. You don't know what you're talking about. The police are being overrun. And we have another sheriff that said, hey, we're being overwhelmed, I think was the phrase that the sheriff used. So really, you don't need government help. So I'm sorry for the rant, Pat, but this is completely staged. They're inventing the way to make it Trump's fault. And then you've got their own law enforcement saying, guys, we are honestly overwhelmed here.
Adam, thoughts?
So I know we're going to criticize the hell out of this thing, and I'm exactly no fan of it. But what I've been trying to do is understand the mindset of people that advocate for this. So to anyone out there that's shocked that this is happening, pretty sure Trump said exactly what he would do, and he's doing exactly what he said he would do. You know, when you campaign, you know, it's like promises made, promises kept. This is what he campaigned on. But I'm sure Vinny, I'm sure Tom, I'm sure LA, PBD are going to comment on the atrocity that's happening in LA. And last week, I'm like, dude, I don't even give a shit about LA anymore. Every time we bring it up, it's always some nonsense. It's always some BS. But I took a step back, and I'm trying to understand why people advocate for this. And it comes down to the whole concept of critical race theory and intersectionality, which we brought up a ton of times on the BLM movement, on the Gays for Gaza, on the Free Palestine movement. Why is it intersect with what's happening in California today? So this whole open border mindset, like, why do they think this way? So I had a friend actually.
You said 90 seconds you've been saying, why do they think this way? And I'm still waiting.
Okay.
Well, tell me, brother, why do they think this way?
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Pat. I had a conversation with a good buddy of mine this weekend, and I thought that he was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
He's like, look, man, I support this, right? Like, I'm going to go down there. I'm going to put on my thing. I'm going to start supporting these things. These people should stay in the country. I'm like, you're kidding me? He's like, no. Like, I'm serious. I go, whoa. So here's what it comes down to. Number one, they think that ICE is a part of the patriarchy, and it symbolizes modern day oppression. So they think that the system is completely unjust, social justice warriors, and they think that their resistance is not only necessary, it's morally justified. So they feel that they have the moral high ground. Okay, great. They feel that way. You know, facts don't care about your feelings. Number two, they think that borders equal violence. That they think, in their opinion, and the way they feel, is that no human being is illegal, and that borders are completely artificial, And these arbitrary lines, it's not a crime if you cross them for survival.
Okay.
The third thing is that that riots are completely justified rage, and that you're rioting for the voiceless. And in their opinion, the American dream belongs to everybody, not just the privileged. So at the end of the day, they feel like they're defending humanity. Now, obviously, we could give a whole...
This is all liberals who feel this way.
This is why they think they're right. So I'm trying to get my mind to understand, all right, why do you feel this way? Because obviously, if you're pro-USA and you're pro-border, a nation without borders is not a nation.
Those are not the problems, though. To me,
exactly.
Yeah, the problem isn't with the people that are against this. We know with the people that are against this. The problem is with the people that voted for Trump that are now saying this is not fair. You know, he's dividing and doing all this other stuff.
Is that very common, though?
You would be amazed how many phone calls I had yesterday over this topic. Not the people that are against it. Okay. Because here, and I want you to finish your thought.
Yeah.
Were those the 3 points, or did you have more?
Yeah, but really what it comes down to is the fact that, you know, so when do you see people burning the American flag? When do you see who are these people?
Oh, there's videos of them burning the flag and celebrating.
I just sent one where he's spitting on it, Rob. I just sent it to you.
I don't know if we can play that, but here's one of a guy throwing the American flag into a fire.
Right, and then go back to the next one, Rob. That's the Kobe Bryant and Gigi one that you have right there. Watch this.
I'm downtown walking around. This is bullshit. Look what the fuck they did to the Kobe mural down here.
This is with
How
his daughter,
disrespectful
by the way.
can you be?
Look at this.
What a fucking joke.
Yeah.
You can pause it right there. Okay. Were you going somewhere with the flag?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the flag is the ultimate symbol of whether you love America or don't love America. I'll give you one quick story. You know, I bought 1,000 of these flags. I went to Mar-a-Lago on my birthday, and they gave me these flags. I go, you know what? I'm going to buy a ton of these flags. And everywhere I go, I start handing them out. And now it's usually the people that love America go, hey, sick pin, bro. And I give them a pin, and they go, thank you, as if I just gave them $1,000. Right. But then there's people that are like, ew, why are you wearing that flag? And I told you that one story of that one girl who was unproud to be American. This, to me, is the crux of what's going on. Either you love America and realize maybe, hey, we got some problems, and we need to fix it, but we're still the best country in the world. Or you hate America, and your whole concept is let's tear it down and start over.
Yeah.
And that's the crux of what's going on
Vinny,
here.
do you have opinions on this?
I do. And how do we first we have to find out, how do we get to this point? How do we get here? And yeah, this is it's been a broken system forever. Trump is the only one that actually tried to do the border and the whole situation, but he was fighting tooth and nail. He had to deal with Russia collusion, all this shit. But this past 4 years, and I was talking with Jake, I'm tired of saying the Biden administration. No, Biden had nothing to do with it. It was all those people that were in charge of the auto pen that had a wide open border where over 20 million of these people are here, okay? And now, and we knew it was gonna hurt, we knew it was gonna suck, they're going after the people that aren't supposed to be here. And just to let everybody know what really happened, Pat, you mentioned this, like ICE wasn't out there just going up to people, grabbing children, because that's all bullshit mainstream media. They were serving criminal warrants. There was a business in LA that was under investigation for laundering money, customs fraud, wiring funds straight from Colombian cartels, and they were arresting gang members, armed robbers, and sex predators, okay? They were out there getting real monsters, and then when federal agents showed up to do their jobs, they were getting lit up in the streets, okay? And then you have Gavin Newsom, all right? I have to bring up Gavin Newsom. You are part of the problem, okay? This ad, by the way, perfectly waits a couple days for it to get to where it's the city's burning, and then comes out and blames Trump, okay? You're the same guy that is pro-illegal immigration. You're the same guy that made it illegal to ask for somebody's ID to vote. That's who he is, and that's who their country is. And let's not forget, Pat, what is the reason that the left, and Adam, to answer your point, open borders and all the whatever, and why the politicians love it? It's to inflate the census numbers. You know why? Because the more people that are in, the more seats they're going to get in the House. Okay, and that's what, and that's why they lure these people in. Free health care, free housing, free credit cards, free hotels, and they don't give a shit about the people. Okay, you know what pissed me off the most out of this whole thing? Especially when it comes to ICE agents. Guys, federal agents with families, with lives that are trying to do their job. Okay, Hakeem Jeffries, he came forward, and in front of a camera, I send it to Rob. Rob, you have it. Saying ICE agents should be unmasked. Okay? Think about that. He's not talking about policy. He's not talking about the border. He's talking about exposing federal law enforcement agents, what do you think that means, Pat? What does this guy, and I'm going to play this clip, what does this dead-eyed shill politician mean when he says they take off I want to expose who these people are doing their jobs, getting illegals out of this country? Play this clip, Rob.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is America.
No shit.
This is not the Soviet Union. We're not behind the Iron Curtain. This is not the 1930s. And every single one of them.
Look.
No matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified.
So he wants to ID these people.
Who does he want to identify?
ICE agents, the guys that are supposed to be.
So cops can't wear masks anymore?
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. He's saying unmask, but he's saying unmask him. He wants to reveal the identity of federal agents. Adam, that to me is inciting violence towards federal officers. It's reckless and it's ridiculous, Pat. And the last thing I want to say, especially with the mask, when you're there and you're protesting and you're burning down the city, it should be illegal. You can't wear a mask. You can't be out there hiding your fucking face and then burning down the city. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the polls, Adam, to your point, the polls are saying they're pro this. We voted for it. I want this shit.
Yeah. So
okay?
let me speak to Californians who want California to turn red one day. To those of you guys that are still waiting for California to turn red, I'm going to speak to those guys. Okay. So Trump's campaign was they brought 15 million illegal immigrants during Biden's administration, record-breaking numbers. If you remember, 228,000 in 1 month, in December, record-breaking, and it kept breaking a record over and over and over and over and over again. And Kamala Harris didn't do nothing about it, and she was the border czar, and they try to tell us she's not, right? If you voted for Trump and you're wondering why he's doing this, this was a top 3 issue. So don't get it twisted. This is what he talked about he's going to be doing. So guess what states were going to be targeted by this? Your state, one of them. Texas is probably the other one. Arizona's another one. You got a few of those states that are going to be targeted. Probably Illinois, New York, a couple of the other places that will be targeted. That's one. Again, to the people in California that are saying they want the state to turn red. Number 2, they're using exactly this. This last week was the greatest week of the year for Democrats under Trump's administration. This was the greatest week for Democrats. Last week was the first week where they could actually say, awesome, look what's going on here. We have crisis, use it. Rahm Emanuel never let a crisis go to waste. One of them was what? Trump Elon? Oh my God, division. I smell blood. Go. Number 2, they've been waiting. I said we're going to go and deport people. Criminals is what we start off with first. They said this. They documented it. They're going after. Nothing they're doing, they didn't say they're going to be doing. They're doing exactly what they said they're going to be doing. You know how hard this job is? And I said it a year ago when a guy was saying, hey, I have a $750 million project. Can you please introduce it to the White House? It's going to take a lot of work to be able to deport 10 plus million people. This is not a simple little project that we have here that's going on, right? You know what I said? It's going to be so nasty. They're going to make the president look so bad. They're going to make him look cold-hearted. They're going to make all this stuff because the job, no matter what, as many people that hated these criminals that came here, raping all the other stuff that happened, all the Lakin, all these stories that was, no matter how much you got emotional about it, they're going to flip the script on you. And they're going to tell you, and they're going to tug at your heart. President Trump is dividing and, separation and mom and dad and all these kids and send them all these. This is not fair. Look what he's doing. And you're going to fall for it. And your state's going to stay blue for the rest of your life. This is what's going to happen. This may have extended California staying blue by an additional decade. This right here. Because you're falling for it. You, California, you're falling for it. Especially those of you guys that voted for Trump. You're falling for it. And they're getting you like this. Look how easy it is. They know how to tug your heart and control you and own you. They just know how to do it. They own you and they know it. They know, even the independents that flip the state, they know, don't worry about it. We know how to control these people. These people are weak-minded. They're so easy to get. They're going to be so quick to forget. Don't worry about it. They're going to forget the fires, Palisades. Who cares about that? These people are weak. We're going to own them. All these people that supported Trump and $1 trillion that left, don't worry. We're going to own them. These are weak conservatives. They don't have a backbone. We own them just by doing this. And you as a conservative who may be watching this as an independent, that you're falling for this trap, they got you. What do they call it? Hook,
line, and sinker.
Boom, they got you. And you go, oh my God, it's breaking my heart. Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about the other side. What's the other side? The other side is the people that have been there for 20 years, that are part of society, that have been living in California. Their kids are going to school here. They're 17 years old. They're 16 years old. They were not born in Mexico. Their parents came here illegally. They broke a law. That's a crime, which, by the way, I'm telling you this is going to sound weird when I say this to you. I actually understand breaking that law. If I'm living in, Sinaloa, if I'm living in, Guanajuato, if I'm living in Guerrero and I'm having kids are being, Mexican mafia cartel, if they're doing what they're doing, I'm leaving and finding a way to come here, and I'm committing a crime to come here. But it's still a crime. But I'm still doing it. I understand the crime I'm committing. Did you just say that? Yes. If I know someone's harming my daughter, I am ready to commit a crime. And I know it's a crime. As a father, it's my job to protect my daughter. I'm ready if you cross that line with the family. So don't get it twisted. I have a lot of good friends whose parents came across the border, and they're phenomenal people, and they're friends of mine. But it is a crime. Now, what Trump has an opportunity to do with their camp, the way Reagan and some others tried to do in the past, if he can find a way to take this argument away from liberals, like he's been doing on so many different arguments, where the people that have been institutionalized into the system, that all they know is, I just know America. I was never born in Mexico. I'm 17 years old. But my mom and dad came here legally. If those people get deported and you don't find a way to get them in the system, you're going to lose out on an opportunity here that the Trump's administration ought to consider on what to do with. They have to. It is a crime. Allow me to pay back for my crime in a way. Give me the options, okay? Hey, you committed a crime. I did, officer. What do I do? You can either do, community service. You can either pay $250 fine or do this. Great. Let me know what my crime is. I just want to let you know. I work. I pay taxes. My kid has a 4.2 GPA. My kids are doing this. I'm a good contributor to society. Allow me to have a way. All right, you need to go do this. This is the fine. No problem. For 1 year, your salary is going to be, 20% tax that you're going to have to pay for this, and that. You know how you do, what do you call it, when somebody gets a divorce and you have to pay alimony or whatever? Yeah. There's a form of alimony that you owe to the country that you have to pay for 3 to 5 years. I would create a form of punishment. And you know what? A lot of people would be willing to pay for it.
Of course.
A lot of people would be willing to pay for it. Those guys. But if you have a criminal record, you came here illegally, you did this, you did that, and whoever came the last year, 2 years, you are not part of our society. 2, 3, 4 years. You just came here and you're causing mayhem. Zero hesitation. And by the way, this whole sanctuary city that they don't want to talk about. They don't want to go and take the responsibility of what the sanctuary city thing is that's going on in California, all over the place, San Francisco. They don't want to touch that. It is a mess. But conservatives, please understand this. Be very careful with flattery and be very careful where people try to talk to you with here and they break your heart and they control you. That's Newsom's profession. He just did that earlier. And they know how to deflect. They know how to blame. They know how to act like victims. They know how to get in front of these Mexican, Hispanic families and feel like they're there for them. They're not there for them. They don't give a shit about those families. They care about the vote, and that's it. They don't care about anything else but that. And if you're naive enough to fall for it, good luck with California. California may have been getting closer to possibly become a red state in the next 2-3 elections. Extended 10 years on what could happen with that. And by the way, here's Adam Schiff. Look what he says to Adam Schiff. Watch what he says to, go ahead and play this clip, Rob.
That they stay that way
The folks who are being impacted by these immigration sweeps do not want violence done in their name. Violence is never justified. It's never justified
whatsoever
against anyone, not against the law enforcement officers here. So outside people, agitators, whoever, just stay the hell out. And as for the President of the United States, commandeering the guard over the opposition of the governor was a pointless and incendiary action.
Pause it right here
It has made
and go to what Trump said, if you could. Go to what Trump said.
He's daring Tom Homan to come and arrest him. Should he do it? I would do it if I were Tom. I would do it. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing. He's done a terrible job. Look.
Rob, lower audio
I like
a little
Gavin
bit.
Newsom. He's a nice guy. Confident. Everybody knows. All you have to do is look at the little railroad he's building. It's about 100 times over budget. We're putting a flagpole over there. Under budget. I always do under budget.
I mean, is he wrong?
No,
Is he wrong?
he's
He was
not
a nice guy, but grossly incompetent.
California has to be very, very careful to not be brainwashed by this crisis. They have to be very, very careful. Rob, go to ChatGPT. Go to ChatGPT and type in the following. Watch this, because this is all I care about. Go to ChatGPT and type in, what have Mayor Bass and Gavin Newsom do? How have Mayor Bass and Gavin Newsom reacted to the riots in L.A.? Okay? Reacted to the riots in L.A. And then don't ask it. And I'm sorry, I was going to say, pause it, and then put, what solutions have they offered? What solutions have they offered? That's their job, right? Now watch what ChatGPT say. Go for it, Rob. What solutions have they offered? Watch this here.
I think ChatGPT might be down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Go to Grok. Let's test out Grok. Okay, go to Grok and ask the same exact question.
There's the communists.
Ask the same exact question. Zoom in a little bit. All right, let's see what Grok says. Okay, Mayor Bass's reaction solution. Mayor Bass has been faced significant criticism for response to customs. Her initial reaction perceived as weak by some as she accused downplaying the severity of the unrest of focus on supporting immigrants communities rather than condemning the violence outright. Bass exposed outrage. Okay, this is exposed by what, though? Immigration raids describing it as cruel? No, I want to know solutions. Bass has been criticized, suggesting that the local law enforcement has had situation under control while the city expressed significant violence, including looting, arson, and attack on law enforcement. Later, she took a firmer stance against violence, stating, everyone has the right to peacefully protest, but let me be clear, violence and destruction are unacceptable, and they responsible will be held accountable. Okay, so what's the solution, though? Coordination with the community organization. Bass offered her staff office to work closely with immigrant rights organizations. That's not going to work. Communities with federal authorities. She noted that city officials were in direct contact with Washington, D.C. Path forward, that's not going to work. You move slow, just like you move slow on the fires. Focus on peaceful protests. Bass, focus. Okay, no, that's not a solution. Criticism, that's not solutions. I want solutions. Let's see what Newsom solutions are. Go a little bit lower. Instead of the criticism, solutions. Legal action against federal government. Okay, his solution is going against Trump for the protesting and riots in his state. Coordination with local. Newsom stated that he was working closely. Same exact bullshit. Deployment of state resources. Newsom deployed additional California Highway Patrol United. Keep the peace. Oh, knock it off, California.
Oh, in other words, you wanted more cops. Not federal cops, but you send the highway patrol to act as police.
That's right. Call for peaceful protest. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So meaning, by the way, they offer no solutions.
Zero.
No solutions, just lip service. And by the way, check this out. Go to Twitter on my account, Rob. You know the guy that everybody was excited about possibly going and running for, mayor and, Rick Caruso. I'm excited about him. Look at Rick Caruso. There is no emergency. There is no widespread threat or out-of-control violence in L.A. and absolutely no danger that justifies the employment of National Guard, military, or other federal force to the streets of this or any other Southern California city. Local law enforcement is capable of handling the situation and should arrest anyone causing violence in the streets. We must call for calm in the streets, and deployment of National Guard may prompt just the opposite. That tells you you're also not qualified.
He's not.
You're not qualified. You're just like everybody else. And I said, do you actually believe you're saying this, or are you playing politics? Many residents of L.A., California are looking at you as a candidate that won't play politics. He's playing politics.
He's done.
So the point with California is the moment you think one person's this, they go playing politics. Tom, thoughts?
So what's very interesting is I go behind it, right? And all Americans are unified that there are three types of immigrants. Been here, lawful, and we have a heart for those. What do? Been here. And then just got here, question marks, and just got here criminals. 3 groups, right? The illegal aliens. Been here lawful, just got here, question marks, just got here criminals. Rob, can you pop this up? A month ago, look at this. Look at this. This is very interesting. Here's the polling numbers from 1 month ago. What do people think about that third group? Just got here, criminals. In other words, committed crimes, not just the crime of walking in the border, that's a crime, but violent crime once you got here. An additional, right? How important is that illegal immigrants who commit crimes in America should be deported? The full survey result was 79%. Yes, it's important that they be deported. 90% of Republicans, 76% of independents, and 69% of Democrats. 69% of Democrats said it's important if you just got here and now you're committing crimes, proven that, wait, how did you get in and you're a bad guy? We need to send you away. They thought it was important. And so the problem is the third group is when you try to remove the third group, just got here, proven criminals, that's when the opportunistic politics jumps into place and the weak-minded people. And I'll tell you, there's not weak-minded people in places like Huntington Beach who blocked it. Remember the riots, George Floyd? They blocked the street and they said, you want to come on down? And all the people they were showing their permits. Yep. I got a permit. There's my gun permit and here's my gun. And so,
by the way, again, California conservatives who want to see the state flip red, who got emotional and fell for this gimmick that they have. Here's CNN doing a poll on how they feel Trump is doing on immigration. Remember, CNN, not Fox. Not Fox. Let's see what America thinks how Trump is handling immigration. Go for it, Rob. Go ahead.
If we just take a look at the baseline numbers here, this is Trump's net approval rating on immigration.
Specific
it's
immigration.
Gone up like a rocket. Compare now versus 8 years ago during Trump's first term. Look at this.
People are supporting this, folks.
Way underwater at minus 21 points. But look at this. He's up over 20 points.
That's right.
Now in the aggregate, he is in positive territory at plus 1 point on his net approval rating. Some other polls even have it a little bit higher than that. There is no issue on which Trump is doing so much better than he was in his first term, more than the issue of immigration. No wonder the Times has written up the way that he is. Trump is begging for a fight on this because he knows what he's doing so far is working with the American electorate.
Where does immigration rank on issues for him? How is he doing compared to others?
Yeah, so I think what's so important is it is his top issue so far, and the reason it is his top issue is because take a look at the individual nuggets in here. Why are people approving of Trump on immigration, approve of these different immigration actions? Well, Trump's administration's program to deport those here illegally. Look at this, 54% approval. How about agents searching your hometown for those that they think are here illegally? Again, positive territory here, above 50% for Donald Trump. So it's not just on the broad issue of immigration where Trump is doing well. It's on the specifics. When you dive into the issues, Trump is above 50% and his actions are above 50%, at least with those most directly connected to what's going on right now out in Los Angeles.
So Donald Trump, the president, picking a fight on this, and to an extent, you see
can
Los
pause
Angeles
it right
mayor.
Here. By the way, when you see something like this, you know what it's telling you? People support it. FYI, let me go to my friends in the greater LA area. You're in it, which means I feel bad for you, for those of you that are in it, who are seeing it, who are feeling it. We built an insurance company that 54% was Hispanic, Mexican, Salvadorian, Guatemalan, you name it, Ecuador, Cuban, Puerto Rican, you name it. We had them, okay, all over the place. But specifically speaking to the folks who are Mexican, that you're going through this right now. I understand it's emotional. I understand within your family you're getting calls, testimonies, fears, all the stuff that's taking place. And I know for a fact you also don't support this behavior, but you're worried about some of the people or what's going to happen to you. Just so you know, I get why you're more emotional than others because you're in it, but there's 49 other states and many other districts who are scared because they know if they don't get it straight in LA, it's coming to a city near them. And that's what they're worried about. It starts with LA because the border's right there with Tijuana, with San Diego, with all of that stuff that's going on. So anyways, Adam, go for it, and then we'll transition to the next
You
story.
hit the nail on the head with the correct wording of this. This is a very emotional issue. When you see, quote unquote, humans, kids being ripped out of where they're at, it's a very emotional issue. It triggers emotions. But you know how they say it's not what you say, it's how you say it? Who do you think has done more deporting? Donald Trump or Barack Obama?
So far as Barack.
Barack Obama was nicknamed the deporter-in-chief. I never saw one protest about Obama.
Of course not.
I never saw one riot. I never saw one city being burnt down when Obama was deporting people left and right, but very quietly. And he didn't stir the pot like Trump did. So part of the good thing and bad thing about Trump is he's going to tell you exactly what he's going to do. I'm going to shut down the border. I'm going to build a wall. Ain't nobody coming in here. We're done with the illegal immigration, and we're going to round up all the illegals, and we're coming for you. Boom. Holy crap. What? This guy's going to deport all the people. But if you look at the stats, Obama has removed apparently 3 million people versus Trump a little over 1 million. So the numbers are shocking if you take a look at it. This is what I call cognitive dissonance. Is that, no, don't worry about what Obama did. Let's focus on Trump. But you don't want to pay attention to the fact that Barack did almost 3 times as much as what Trump did. Yeah, but he didn't say it out loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nor did the media. Nor did the media on Barack Obama.
They worked
So
together.
Obama deported more people than Trump. And this whole intersectionality movement, you have to understand it's not just one thing. That's why you see BLM, Antifa, the LGBTQIA mafia, the Free Palestine, the Gays for Gaza, the woke queer agenda, the climate activists, the feminists, the abolish ICE. They all get together and they all want to burn it down.
So I want to show you 2 clips here, okay? One, which Rob just showed me. Rob, can you pull up this clip of what Gavin Newsom asked for in 2024? You know which one I'm talking about,
yes.
Rob?
Yeah.
This is what Gavin Newsom asked for in 2024.
This is really him?
Watch this
Okay.
here. Watch
This is 24, not 2020.
Watch 2024. Watch this.
We're back down here at the border, Tijuana, right behind me, San Diego sector. This is the San Ysidro port of entry, not too far away, which is the largest in the Western Hemisphere. We were just down here with the National Guard, meeting with Customs.
Who was he with?
As well as Border Patrol,
No,
talking about
National Guard.
partnerships. 390
okay.
National Guardsmen and women that have been working, particularly as it relates to fentanyl here in the state of California. Look at the bottom line at the end of the day. They need more resources.
That's
Everybody
right.
needs more
Interesting.
resources. And the Republican Party has been consistently standing in the way of providing the resources to support the men and women working
so
hard
here you go.
here at the border,
Contradiction.
throughout the state of California and this country.
I got
to address
you.
The issues.
So this is what you call.
It's time for them to stop playing
This is what you
It's time
call.
For the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
Where are this is what you call this. Brought to you by
Those are some
Gavin Newsom.
Flip-flops.
Hey, can we send this to Gavin Newsom, please?
Let's do it.
Newest slides that we have on vtmerch.com. Flip-flops for Gavin Newsom, who's flip-flopping. Bash him when they say you don't give us National Guard, and then when they send you National Guard, guess what you say? You say, there's not needed. Why would you do this? You're escalating this process. Do you know what the playbook is? It doesn't matter what Trump says. Make the argument against it. That's the playbook we just witnessed here. Very simple. By the way, the average person that doesn't live in L.A., you know why they're worried about the border? Watch this clip here that Vinny just sent with Al-Qaeda. Rob, can you show this? Not Al-Qaeda, the one of the leaders.
And this just came out.
This just came out, by the way. Watch this one here. Tell me how you feel about this. And Grok confirmed that the words that he said is accurate based on the translation that's taking place in this clip. And the average person is worried about. This is why President Trump's support on immigration is so high. Go ahead, Rob.
ثم إننا ندعو ومن الآن كإجراء عملي أولي كل مسلم
I call upon every Muslim and the infidel criminal and arrogant United States. Does not matter if they're Arab, American, or other descent. What matters is that they should be Muslims whose prophet is Muhammad. 4.5 million Muslims in America alone.
ونصف المليون مسلما في أمريكا وحدها نقول لهم
I'm
جميعا
saying to all of them, revenge, revenge. Do not consult anyone about killing infidel Americans. You should have a lot of determination and the list of your targets should be effective. Go after the scum of the earth and its greatest criminals. Trump, his VP, Musk, his advisors, supporters in terms of finance, administration, technology, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense. Go after their families. All of those who have any ties or close to the politicians of the White House. Very civil, peaceful. Obviously, it's very peaceful.
Very peaceful.
Why should we believe them when he tells us exactly what they want to do? Why should we believe them when he says burn the whole place down? Why should we actually believe him when he says control the infidels?
You know what the point is, though, Adam? There's a reason why Trump's keeping this as the number one issue, because this is the number one issue of American people. Folks, I just came back from Bahamas 2 days ago. I don't know when we were there. We were there on Saturday.
The weekend, yeah.
And we were with Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson just got out of jail now 13 days ago. He called me, says, Pat, I'd want to sit down and have a conversation with you. And we did. You know what's going on in UK? UK is what could happen in America. And I wanted to go sit down with him because I want to see, this is a guy that has done time multiple times. He is not liked by a lot of people in UK, but he's got so many things right. This is us when we go to Bahamas. Rob, if you want to play this clip, go ahead.
This is the intro.
This is the intro. Just play it for the first 40 seconds of the intro. Watch this clip here. So Tommy Robinson got out of prison 10 days ago. We wanted to do a podcast with him. He reached out. We spoke. Can't do it in the States. Last time he came here, he got arrested. So we're going to Bahamas to interview the controversial Tommy Robinson.
I have to be careful what I say here because I'll go straight back to jail. I'm currently under another gagging order. I just wish that someone would have come to my country 30 years ago or 40 years ago and said, here's what's going to happen.
People call you racist. People call you Islamophobic. Where is the passion coming for you to want to go up and do something about this?
And they're getting our young girls hooked on heroin, and then they're prostituting them in paedophile gangs. The government know, the police know, religious leaders know. There's a conspiracy.
How is that possible?
Yeah, they control it. The drugs, the violence in every town and city is controlled by the Muslim community in the UK now. They are the mafia. And this is what Americans really need to get ready for.
But who is for you now?
Elon Musk spoke up on my behalf. Our entire prison system is controlled by Islamic jihadist gangs.
Yours.
Now, yours will be soon as well. America needs to wake the hell up. Muslims beheaded.
In jail. Okay, the stories he told, that they beheaded a guy with bed sheets in jail. Did you hear what I just said?
No.
Bed sheets. So I put bed sheets tied around the guy's neck. You pull, I pull
So his
until
head comes
his head
off.
Yes. Okay. Yes. What they did to his cousin when she was 13 years old, that's what really fired him up, that he started doing something about this. This guy was trying to be a engineer for, what was it? Aviation engineer was what he was going to school for, right? And then all of a sudden, all this stuff happens. Look, Americans are worried that they can lose their national identity, what America was founded on. America became the greatest country in the shortest amount of time because of the values and principles that our founding fathers put together. And it became the greatest country. And more Democrats and independents flipped to the other side to say, as much as I'm a Democrat, man, I am no longer buying into this border stuff. This is concerning. So anything anybody can say, that's here. I'd like to transition to the next story that we have here. We spent 45 minutes talking about this. Obviously, I lived in LA for a while, and this is a very important matter to many of us. But I want to get to the next.
I feel like this is a separate issue, though, what Tommy's doing versus America. I don't know if you want to spend 30 seconds on it.
What is that?
But what we're talking about in America is, border control, illegal immigration. We understand that. But this is a global movement. And that's what they talk about, globalizing the intifada. What Tommy Robinson is recognizing in London, in UK, in Europe, has already happened. And they're sending out warnings. Guys, it's happening in the United States. Wake up. These social jihadists, they used to be called social justice warriors. But after COVID and after October 7th, all of a sudden it galvanized the jihadist movement and said, now's our time. And what happens is, I've said this a million times and I will continue to say this strange hybrid blend of the communists, the Marxists, and the jihadists and the Islamists have come together to tear down the West. This is why they hear death to America, death to Israel, because Israel's on the front lines fighting these things. So the globalizing the intifada, it's no longer about Islamists, because you see Americans or Westerners wearing the, what's it called? Khalifa? What do they call it? What
Yeah.
they,
the Middle Eastern
whatever
scarf.
it's called, whatever the scarf that they're using. This is why you see Greta Thunberg using terms like, comrades, I'm on my way to Gaza. What? Wasn't she the person talking about climate change? Now she's the poster child for the Free Palestine movement?
She just got deported, by the way. She's going to France.
So
they caught her.
these useful idiots are these misguided zealots that are crusading for a cause, have no idea what they're doing, but they feel this way. They're carrying a torch of justice, but they don't realizing that they're going to burn down the very bridge that they're standing on. And this is what they don't understand. This is why they're called useful idiots.
Just FYI, that guy that gave the Al-Qaeda guy, he just spoke out to 4.5 million Muslims in the United States. Okay, that's a call to action. All right, how many of those people that came in during this 4 years, the ones that were looking at the camera going, soon you're gonna know my name, that were giving cell phones, how many of that 4.5 are gonna be activated right now? And we have a World Cup coming up. What perfect time to say that type of shit, because I'm telling you right now, we're not fear-mongering. These ICE agents and all these raids, whatever. Wait until the terrorists start doing the 9/11 shit that Tom Homan has been warning us about. That's going to be worse than 9/11. You'll see.
And you'll notice one thing about these things. This is the exact opposite of what capitalism is, because their very foundation is to destroy. The jihadic Marxists, their very foundation is destroy, burn it down. Whereas pro-America, pro-capitalism, pro-Westernism is to build up. Your building isn't bigger just because you burn mine down. And this is my final point. The weirdest thing to me, and this is why I think this movement is never going to last long term, because it comes down to the belief in God. The jihadists, the Islamists, the people that are on that side of the movement, they give their whole life to Allah and they believe that. Whereas the communists and the Marxists, the very foundation of that is you cannot believe in God. They're atheists at their core. So you have this strange marriage between the people who believe in Allah the most with people who believe in God the least. And that's a very strange marriage, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, very interesting. Obviously, it is a very important concern to a lot of people. And by the way, one of the topics that came up out of nowhere was Palantir. Because all of a sudden, while this is going on, a lot of people are not comfortable with Palantir. So a lot of people are wondering, they're saying, okay, let's see what's going to happen here. So, Laura Loomer comes out and tweets about Palantir, and she says, maybe this is time for Palantir to be used, right? I think time to deploy Palantir tech to LA to deal with the illegals. You'd love to see it. You're lying if you wouldn't.
That's
now,
weird.
What is Palantir? Why don't we go there? What is Palantir? For some of you that don't know, the history of Palantir is very, very spooky, is what it is, okay? President Trump executive order to enable federal agency data exchange relies on Palantir technology, co-founded by billionaire investor, Republican mega donor Peter Thiel, with New York Times reporting the Trump administration aims to eliminate information silos and streamline data collection across agencies to increase government efficiencies and save hard-earned taxpayer dollar. Palantir received $130 million from the government this year, including a $795 million Department of Defense contract last week. Palantir technology gathers and analyzes vast data for agencies like Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and the IRS. As the New York Times noted, the firm's technology can gather and analyze enormous volumes of data for numerous government agencies. Tech billionaire Elon Musk and the Department of Doge chose Palantir for this project. Tom, tell me what you know about Palantir and what part of it excites you, if any of it does, and what part of it concerns you.
Okay. Palantir is a tool. Palantir is not a database. It is a tool. What does the tool do? The tool, like Excel, allows you to take a whole bunch of data and to dive into that data and figure out things. So that's what Palantir does. Why are people worried about it? Because it is an incredibly fast, adept, and powerful tool. The Social Security Administration, Pat, already has petabytes of information on America. When we're born, what we're doing now. They know every job you've had, because every time you have a job and you have FICA deducted from your paycheck, Vinny, it goes to Social Security. They know every job you've had. The IRS, they know, they've got all the W-2s. They've got 1099s. They know who you've contracted for, who you've had jobs. Well, when you take the IRS database and then you take the Social Security database, you have an amazing fingerprint on the American citizen. Now fold into that like an FBI database. Now you know who's naughty, who's not, and all the places they've been. And you can do predictive modeling. What people worry about, Pat, is Minority Report. where you sit and you now have surveillance on people because of predictive modeling on what you might do in the future. And that was the whole premise of that. And so Palantir has these amazing tools. One is called Foundry, and there's Gotham, that could take these giant stacks of data and they could do assimilation and modeling very, very fast. And what Laura Loomer is saying, why don't we take Palantir and take everything that the police know about who's been arrested, everything that ICE knows about who's been at the border, get it? So one, you have an economic model in the future that you could do with Social Security and the IRS on peaceful law-abiding citizens paying their taxes, what they do, where they go, which most people won't like. Now, what if you do that with all the law enforcement data? That's what Laura Loomer's talking about. Hey, get the LAPD, get the Sheriff's Department, get the Highway Patrol, who's been pulled over, and who registered and who is catch and release at the border, and let's assimilate all that, and then let's look in there and go, wait a minute, here's my top 10. And Palantir could do that very, very, very quickly. The privacy people are like, well, wait a minute now. As soon as you do that, you end up toward Minority Report. So Palantir is a tool, and that's kind of the way, and I tried to summarize that as quick as I could, Pat, about what it does and how it can be used.
Yeah.
There's a video I sent to Rob in 2023, Pat, where the CEO and co-founder, Alex Karp, is saying that their primary goal is to set a global standard for the world behavior. Those are scary words, Tom, to hear from Tom.
Do you know the history behind it of why they started Palantir? Like, do you know when it happened?
Well, they were funded through, like, quite literally through the CIA with the QTEL, right?
In-Q-Tel, which was CIA's arm that invested in different
venture
technologies.
Capital arm. Yeah.
So originally, when in 2001 9/11 happened, the government looked horrible because they were not able to, see how they got caught. CIA, NSA, all these guys looked very bad. So they tried to build a Palantir, but they were shut down by the government. In 2003 ish, they decide to build Palantir. If you can type up when Palantir got started, Rob, the exact year Palantir got started, should be like 03 ish. They decide to build this. There you go. Yeah, okay. May 6, 2003. The founders and names that we just talked about. Peter Thiel was one of the investors. I think their first few clients were CIA, NSA, few other companies, and that led to trying to prevent the next 9/11. That's what they're saying. They're trying to prevent the next 9/11 by being able to gather intel. That part makes some people extremely uncomfortable, but the president is somewhat supportive of what's going on here. And obviously, Musk for Doge chose these guys. Him and Thiel go back many, many years. Rob, can you play that clip that Vinny had? I've not seen that one. And then the other one that you have yourself as well. Go for it.
Built PG, which single-handedly stopped the rise of the far right in Europe. We built Foundry, which was used to distribute the COVID vaccine and saved millions of lives globally. We built what we call multi-constellation, and what's often called the digital kill chain. And they're category-defining products. So when you deliver these products to the market, just honestly, people say this isn't going to exist, this isn't valuable, but then it changes the market and the Palantir market. Now, that doesn't mean everyone in the world is going to buy our product, but it means most of the sensible people in the world are going to buy from the category we defined.
Now, what's the other one?
This is Alex Karp?
That's Alex Karp saying that basically his company's software single-handedly stopped the far right in Europe, and now they're building the AI-powered to be working for our government.
What's this, Rob?
This is Alex Karp at the World Economic Forum in 2023 talking about the primary goal of Palantir.
Go for it.
Then we were asked if we were willing to supply our product philanthropically, basically, for free, and I was very in favor of this because our primary mission is, in fact, to set a global standard for the world for behavior.
To set a global standard for behavior, that means they want to control everything. And why is it that the guys that want to control everything, the majority of them look like that guy? Look at that guy. Look at that guy.
Is that John Stewart?
This is John Stewart talking about Alex Karp.
Go for it.
The most effective way for social change is humiliate your enemy and make them poorer. I don't think in win-lose. I think in domination. I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts who tried to screw us.
What the...
Well, let's not judge a book by its insides.
That's hilarious. Like he's telling you what he wants to do.
By the way, he's a $12 billion guy. He's a
$12 billion?
Yeah, he's worth $12 billion. He's a $12 billion guy. Very smart, very successful.
Saves
and
a lot on haircuts.
a lot of people are siding with him and supporting this next move. So here's the concern, okay, of the next phase we're about to go through. Oh my God. This next phase we're about to go through. Can you do me a favor? Let's play a game. Rob, can you go back to 20 years ago? Elon Musk's net worth 20 years ago versus today. Elon Musk's net worth 20 years ago, 2005. Yeah, what's his net worth? 2005 was what?
Did he even have $1 billion then?
No, for sure. No, he's been
He had $1
wealthy
billion
for a
20
long
years ago?
time. What was Elon Musk worth in 2005? Okay, what was Elon Musk worth? What was
So somewhere in the range of 175 million when he sold PayPal to eBay in October of 2002.
so let's just say he's worth $500 million.
And first listed 2012. See that?
2012, he was worth $2 billion.
2012. So what was he worth in 2005?
Let's ask Grok.
What was $500 million?
Something like that?
Okay, stay with me.
If
here,
those
folks.
numbers are right.
He was worth $500 million just 2005, 20 years ago. Okay. Alex Karp in 2005 was not even a millionaire. Just so you know that. He was not even in the millions, let alone billions in 2005. Alex Karp, okay? So in 2005, he was barely worth a few $100,000, give or take, okay? What's Musk worth today? We know Alex is worth $12 billion. What's Musk worth
Somewhere
today?
around 400 billion-ish.
Can you pull it up, Rob, to see what he's worth today? Let's just kind of see
Low
this.
300 last week.
So
401 billion.
401 billion.
I was $1 billion off.
So
That's my bad.
400
Kanye would freak out.
billion. Okay, let's do the math. 400 billion divided by 500 million is his net worth has 800x'd in the last 20 years. Let me
Not
say that
bad.
one more time. 800x'd last 20 years. If we say Alex Karp is worth 12 billion today and he was worth $1 million just 20 years ago, he's 12,000x'd his net worth in the last 20 years. What do you think Elon's net worth is going to be in 20 years? Let's play
20
this game.
years?
20 years. What do you think? Remember, they still haven't done the robots. He's going to come in. They're going to do 30 million robots the next decade or two.
Trillion
and the
and a
robots
half.
are going to be how much?
Trillion and a half.
What are you
in
talking?
20 years?
It's going to be $1.5 trillion in 2 years.
2 years?
I think he's going to be $1.5 trillion in 24 to 36 months. What do you think he's going to be worth in 20 years? I want you to actually guess, Tom. In 20 years. I'm going to give my number here in a minute.
Well, T is a big number, but...
Nope.
Think child support, Tom.
No, hang on. I think it's 10 to 15 T.
You think so? Okay.
What?
What do you think he's going to be worth in 20 years? Adam.
I don't say this with optimism. I hope it's not well over $1 trillion. I don't think anybody needs $1 trillion.
He's going to be worth somewhere between 25 to 50 trillion.
Okay,
That's insane.
Guys, let me just. Can I
the
make
common
my
sense part of me says we need to stop that.
Oh, well, what's that say?
Listen.
Where you're going to be worth more?
Yes, by
than
2045.
Than the G20 countries?
Guys, hear me
One
out.
person?
Can I make my
This
point
is no
here?
good.
So he's going to be worth 25 to $50 trillion, 2045. It's my prediction. I could be wrong.
do that.
Listen,
You
I
can
make a lot of
predict.
predictions, and I'm about 60, 70%.
Hope you're wrong, sir.
Trust me.
especially with this one.
But let me tell you what's going to happen. Are you ready? So watch this. Let's go into the Elon conversation, which is kind of weird. I really don't want to get into this conversation, but let's go into the Elon conversation for the shits and giggles.
That's why I
Now,
wore this shirt.
We got 3 people watching. It's not like anyone's going to hear about this. But let's go. Let's go.
30,000
where are we at right now, Rob? Live. What's our number right now?
49,599.
Hey, guys.
I'm seeing
and girls.
55,000 live right now. What number are you looking at?
Yeah, Rob, where are you at?
I'm on. It says
51,000.
Okay,
Hi,
51,716 listening. Okay. So the Trump and Elon issue, you're going to see where I'm going with this. So Elon says, hey, Epstein, it's going to drop. Remember this. And then apparently he deletes that tweet, Rob. Is that correct that he deletes his tweet?
Correct. It's gone.
So that tweet is gone. Okay. Then Trump says he has no desire to fix the relationship with Musk, even after former First Buddy deletes his ex posts. No desire. Rob, I think you have the clips. If you got a couple of those clips.
Here he is. This is President Trump saying that Elon Musk has Trump derangement syndrome.
Go for it. Play this clip.
I think he misses the place
I think he got out there, and all of a sudden he wasn't in this beautiful Oval Office, and he's got nice offices too. But there's something about this one. I was telling the Chancellor, this is where it is. People come in here, even from Germany. They come in and they walk into the Oval Office, and it's just a special place. It's, you know, World War I, it started and it ended here, and World War II, and so many other things. Everything big comes right from this beautiful space. It's now much more beautiful than it was 6 months ago.
Obviously.
A lot of good things are happening in this room. And I'll tell you,
hasn't said anything about Elon yet,
he's
bro.
not the first.
What's your
People
point?
leave
Yeah, exactly.
my administration,
Even President Trump could get it.
and they love us.
What's your point, DJT?
At some
Doesn't feel
point, they
good,
miss it
does
so
it?
badly, and some of them embrace it, and some of them actually
Where does he
become
say
hostile.
Trump derangement?
Call the weave, it's
sort
coming,
of Trump
PBD, give him
derangement
time.
syndrome, I guess they call it. But
Okay.
we have it with others too. They leave, and they wake
All
up
right,
in the morning.
so there's a clip, Rob, they asked him, they said, have you called Elon? And he says, ask him if he's called me. Okay? Has he called me? I won't say anything, but ask him if he's called me. I don't know if this is a clip or not, but it's one of them. How long is this one, Rob?
27 seconds.
Click it. Let's see if this is the one.
On Elon Musk, do you plan to speak to him on the phone anytime soon?
I haven't really thought about it, actually. I would imagine he wants to speak to
That's
me.
the one,
I would
yeah.
think so. If I were him, I'd want to speak to me, and maybe he was already called. You'd have
What's
to
he
ask
saying,
him,
though?
whether or not he's already called. But I'd have no problem with it.
If he called you, you pick up and speak.
Well, I don't want to say that, but I would imagine he'd want to talk to me.
On Elon
Okay,
Musk, do you plan to speak?
so in this situation, who should call who first? And not only that, when we're talking Elon, then Elon said some stuff apparently with Stephen Miller's wife and all this other stuff that came out. Steve Bannon demands Pentagon investigate Musk's push for sensitive briefing in China. Rob, I don't know if I just like I took your wife, we will take back America. No one knows if this is real or not. They said this was
Well, why
deleted.
here's my question about why are you deleting stuff? You know it's gonna live.
Is that
there
true that he did
forever.
tweet that has been verified, Rob? Is that just a
because he said Grok actually fact checked him. Grok fact checked Elon because Elon posted something
About what?
about that. He goes, guys, what was that tweet? He tweeted something about that. Elon.
Grok fact checked him?
Yeah, well, because he put it into Grok, and Grok mentioned something about it, Rob. Let me find
You're
it.
talking about the Stephen Miller part.
Yeah.
But let's
Yes.
focus on Trump.
But wait
right?
a minute. Let me tell you where I'm going with this
Sure.
because I want to go to a place here on
Yeah,
what's going on.
I think we had it as a story, too.
Okay. Well, if you find
It
it,
is.
Rob,
That is on page.
is it page 6? Musk's own AI claims
Yep,
he took
that's it.
Yes, Pat, that was it.
Musk's own AI claims he took Miller's wife and mocked him for it. Elon Musk has been forced to rebuke Grok, his own AI chatbot integrated into X that falsely suggested the tech billionaire wrote a post that he took his wife on Sunday. Grok replied to a question on X asking whether the post supporting to be, which appeared to mock the White House Deputy Chief of Staff by stating, just like I took your wife, was genuine. The chatbot answered by suggesting the post likely existed and was deleted. In response, and exasperated, Musk posted, "No, it's fake F's face palm emoji. I never posted this."
So Grok is telling him, Grok's telling the world, most likely you did it and deleted it. And he's going, guys, my own AI machine is lying.
Yeah. So Rob, Steve Bannon, can you pull up Steve Bannon and the Steve Bannon and the Musk feud? Because Steve Bannon said some stuff about Musk, and then Musk said some stuff about Steve Bannon. Is this the one, Rob?
Yep.
Go for it.
He actually forced himself into the Pentagon, which was a huge explosion. And there's a huge article today in the Atlantic magazine that backs up everything I say, that President Trump was outraged when he found out that Elon Musk determined himself to force the generals and the senior staff at the Pentagon to give him a highly classified briefing on the war plans with China. Why would Elon Musk need that other than to maybe talk to his business partners about it? He has no need to know the business plan or the strategic plan and the warfighting plan against the Chinese Communist Party, particularly around Taiwan. Now that that's a very real possibility, as our defense secretary said in Singapore on Saturday, an attack by the Chinese Communist Party, by the PLA, may be imminent in Taiwan. We've put our allies in East Asia on notice. So the question is, why is Elon Musk, who has no need to know of that whatsoever, why was he forcing himself into the Pentagon to get a highly classified brief? That has to be investigated, and his security clearance should be held in abeyance. And with no security clearance, he can't run the companies. So whether you use the Defense Production Act or anything, but I think he shows by this immature, Bannon's a communist and a retard, the fear he has of what's going to happen given his behavior.
And how did Musk respond? How did Musk respond?
That was in response to, I believe, Elon Musk tweeting.
Called Steve Bannon a criminal and a new ex.
I mean, he's making valid points.
There's a bunch of tweets. These are tweets, tweet
Bannon
after
is
tweet
a
after
communist
tweet.
retard. Bannon is a peak retard. Bannon is a peak retard. Bannon is a peak retard.
So we're just using the R word these days. So we're making the R word great again? Is that what's happening?
But here's the part. Here's the part. They can talk all they want. Musk said something. It was like, when Trump said, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then Musk said, then I'm going to turn off this and I'm going to turn off that.
Oh,
Folks,
yeah.
the guy, the auto industry needs his chargers. The world needs his Starlink. The stuff that this guy's built, if there was anybody that wanted to be Darth Vader and a villain long term, and is plotting his moves, this is probably the first time ever where he revealed his real long-term moves to the world. And either the world caught it or it didn't catch it. But he did reveal it. Okay? Where he's going to be worth, in the next 20 years, $25 to $50 trillion, access to the most incredible weapons, access to the most incredible robots. If he finds a way to live on a different planet, then any other planet becomes the enemy to the planet that he's living in. If he goes and does that, and he's got that kind of wealth, you're going to see the world is going to be ran by this technocracy. Billionaires have the kind of wealth that's going to make billionaires look like they're poor. Mm-hmm. This is not similar type of a wealth. Say you're worth $1 billion, and somebody's worth $25 trillion. They have 25 times your wealth. I'll say that one more time. If somebody's worth $25 trillion, you're worth $1 billion. They have 25 times your wealth. That's the same as you having $1 million in the bank, and I have $400 in the bank.
That's a whole different situation.
It's not even close.
Nowhere.
You have $10 million in the bank. I have $4,000 in the bank. You have $100 million in the bank. I have $40,000 in the bank. That's the difference, and that comes with a lot of power and authority. And for the first time ever, we watched how a president went up against the richest man in the world that used to be teammates. And on a world scale, everyone's watching who's got more power.
Can we go there for a second?
Yeah.
Can we go there for a second? Which is kind of scary. Let's go 20 years from now. And this type of situation happens. Well, Elon is worth however many trillion. The president's in. He's cool with the president. But now he has, Rob, 1 billion robots. And he has all this power. And he has all this. And this happens. What does he do? Does he use his robots? Because now, how do you can't get into this fight with him if he's that powerful. He can't get into this fight with Elon. If Elon has all these robots, which he's going to have, he's already said it, and they're stronger than our military, who's going to tell him no? How can you tell him no?
How much emotional restraint has he shown the last week?
Zero. What do you mean? Zero. Going after people's wives.
By the way, you have to realize, we respect the empire he's built. It's not easy to build what he's built. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to build what he did with Tesla and the amount of criticism he got. The support we gave when the Delaware judge didn't want him to pay out his $55.3 or $56 billion that he earned to build all of these companies at the same time and become the modern-day Iron Man. But Iron Man was a good guy. Does this guy deep down inside is showing signs of a good guy? Maybe. Who knows? But in the last week, if you can all of a sudden say something about someone's wife you mocked and say something about the president, calling him a pedophile, and then deleting it, the score for emotional, you may be a genius when it comes down to creating wealth, but where are you at for emotional restraint? And what happens when you give somebody power? What does power reveal? Character. So I don't know. We're entering a very, very interesting next era. A very interesting next era where there's going to be rich people, then there's going to be wealthy people, then there's going to be super wealthy people, then there's going to be individuals that have more wealth than 80% of countries have. That's the next phase we're getting to. And the game's going to change in a big way. In a very, very big way. You're not going to be sitting there like, you know how when you're growing up, it's like, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? You want to be the richest man in the world? You want to be a president? You want to be the greatest basketball player, Michael Jordan? Do you want to be like the greatest, actor? Who do you want to be? For the first time ever, a person is showing that the most powerful position in the world maybe isn't the president.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
that's scary.
Yeah, it's the future where you're going to.
Of course.
It's just the future where you're going to.
I think it all comes down to time horizon. And I'm going to make an analogy here. Like when it comes to money, when I say save that money, people say, well, what do you mean save that money? You need to invest that money. Okay, got it. So saving is short term. Investing is long term. So in the short term, Trump's the man. Period. Long term, Elon Musk is the man. What's the one tweet that I said, hold on. What did he say right there? He said, Trump may have the power for the next 3.5 years, but I got this thing for 40 years. Don't forget that Elon said that and he meant it. So in my opinion, I was very critical of how Elon was acting, and now he just deletes the tweet about Epstein as if we're just going to forget that you just accused Trump of being a pedophile. But looking back at it, I almost want to put a little blame on Trump. Okay, you took his money. I get it. All right, you gave him Doge, and he's going to run the Department of Government Efficiency. But why is he in the Oval Office all the time? Why is he bringing his kids to the Oval Office? It's like, you know how you give him an inch, they'll take a mile? Elon's going to go wherever he's going to go, and he's going to be in every meeting until someone says, bro, what are you doing here? Of course. Like, have a little, like.
So you're saying Trump gave too much access.
Trump gave way too much access. He's behind the Oval Office, the desk, with his kid on his shoulders while Trump's giving a speech as if that's normal.
Yeah.
Like, you're giving him a little too much access. And then you hear the story about Scott Bessent, who's the Treasury Secretary. Apparently, they came to some sort of blows. Did you hear about this story?
Yeah.
This is a clip of Steve Bannon reciting or explaining that fight if you want me to play
Go
it.
ahead.
The physical altercation you had in the West Wing right outside the Oval Office between the Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, who's a good friend of mine and a very even-handed guy. He and Elon got into a physical altercation. And that's because, number one, people felt that day that Elon might have been on drugs. And number two, Scott called him a fraud to his face and said, look, we're in the middle of a terrible budget fight. You committed to $2 trillion, then you committed to $1 trillion. Now you're talking about $160 billion. We don't see where you got anything. And obviously that got under Elon's skin. So I think the president went out of his way to basically give him every opportunity to perform, and it turned out just to be a fiasco. And he turned on the president.
Do you believe the level of accuracy of that story, that's how it went about?
I believe that there was a decent amount of accuracy with that. I do believe that Trump put together a team of rivals. There's no reason that Elon Musk would get along with any of these guys. He almost looks down on any of these people. He's like, I'm going to be a trillionaire. You're some schmuck that's running whatever department right here. So I think there's a part of Elon that doesn't respect any of these guys. And I think it's on Trump to say, no. If I'm going to let you in this room, these are my guys. You have to work with my team. And I do believe there's some credibility there. What do you think?
About what?
Yeah,
I'm convinced something happened, and that black eye has nothing to do with X punching him in the face.
Okay, thank you.
If that was the case, I have 4 kids. I'd be coming to school, work with black eyes every single day, and that's not the case. Something happened, and it was so embarrassing that prompted Elon to go nuclear, because to save face, he went there, and look. You judge people by how a part of the madness of Elon comes with the drive that he has in his belly. He got it from his father, upbringing, competition, a girl, whatever it is. That fire in the belly is a very unique fire in the belly. But you better believe that fire in the belly is, what did you say? You say, I couldn't do it? Watch what we're going to do. What did you say? But then there is that level of, what did you say? I'm going to destroy you. If there is that part of I'm going to destroy you at all costs, where you're publicly humiliating a Stephen Miller that people have to grok, and the software you designed validates that you did do that and say that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know exactly. A part of me wants to believe 100% of what Steve Bannon is saying because he's in the know and he talks to everybody. And if there's anybody that would find that, it's him. People trust him and they say stuff to him. But a part of me is also thinking something happened. I just don't know how it went about. Do I visualize Bessent punching Elon in the face? I don't visualize Bessent punching Elon in the face, but I've been surprised. I mean, listen, we call this year the year of what? Surprises. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of surprises this year so far in the first 6 months of the year.
Oh, 100%. But I mean, this report goes, there's another report, was it for April, Rob? Because ChatGPT's acting weird for me too. Like, there's been beef. But you know what? Can I be like, and you make a very good point. We were so, just get Trump in. We just got to get to the freaking finish line. Oh, Elon's flipping sides. Bring him on. $250 million. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're right. Because it was like, okay, now it's like a little bit too much, but now we see the aftermath. But you know what? In regard to if the Scott Bessent thing with Elon fighting White House, you know what? I'm not even mad at it, Tom. You have two alpha males throwing down in the White House for what's best of the country. I think that's good. That's how they handle business, and I'm not mad at it. That's leadership. Meanwhile, the Democrats, they fight for tampons in men's restrooms. Think about it. Men competing with women. And then let's not forget, his name was Aiden Mace Cherpolsky. He was a legislative aide for Senator Ben Cardin. They were filming gay pornos on the Senate hearing room at the Hart Senate building.
Video was one time.
Yeah, whatever. It was cool. They wanted to post it online. But, that happens. And these are the same people trying to lecture us about morals. And then, Tom, I'm gonna let you say your piece. And now they're blowing. This is the Democratic Party.
They're doing what?
$20 million on a campaign called SAM, S-A-M, speaking to American men. They're spending $20 million for this 2-year campaign, attempt on how to talk to regular guys using ads and video games. Yeah. And newsflash, there's no amount of podcasting with a cool hat you could put on Eric Swalwell, Mr. Fang Fang, or putting on a fake manly beard on Pete Buttigieg. You're not going to fix the problem. So in regard to that fight, if that's the fight and they're fighting for what's best for the country, I'm not mad at it at all.
Tom.
So getting back to the question, then we can move on here. I believe there's smoke, there's fire, and there's too many people have made comments about Bessent and Musk. I think something really happened, but that's all I think. Something really happened. Did Musk drop his shoulder like a rugby player and hit him in the chest, and then Bessent kind of just threw him against the wall, or did Benson punch him? I don't know. But there's a lot of these little comments out there where there's smoke, there's fire. Do I think there was an altercation? Yes. What am I? I'm 95% believing that Bessent said to him, "You're a fraud. You haven't turned anything in. You said $2 trillion, you said $1 trillion, now you say $160 billion." I believe that is exactly a comment that Scott Bessent would make in the middle of this war. Now, the rest of this stuff, what goes on in Congress and everything, yeah, all that's true, Vinny. Everything you're talking about is true. And, and if you it's infuriating. Every bill, everything you find out goes there. But I think it's a new day. Trump's got a team of rivals, and we'll see how this is going to play out. But we haven't seen the last of Elon Musk. The robots and all the power and everything that goes with it, that concerns me long term. I'll say that. That does concern me.
So let's go to this. Rahm Emanuel warns Dems have become party of punks. Is this it, Rob?
Yes, sir.
So Rahm Emanuel, the brothers, they're all studs. All of them, whether you agree with them or not. Family raised 3 studs. I believe it's 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 3 brothers. Ari Emanuel's number 1.
Ari runs Endeavor. You got Rahm Chicago. He helped Obama when he was president.
And there's the third one, I think, Zeke.
Why do Democrats have a problem? Because we're punks. Ooh. And we talk not only talk like punks, we talk down to people. We get caught up in a set of issues that aren't relevant. Think about all this about transgender and sports, etc. There's hundreds of thousands of NCAA athletes. And there's 10 transgender athletes in sports. And this is crazy. As I said in education, we have the worst reading scores and math scores in 30 years, and we're arguing about bathrooms and locker rooms and not the classroom. We got one child.
But that's part of the reason why you're losing with those voters, though. It's not you're not talking about it. The Republicans are talking about it, and the Democrats didn't have a good answer to it.
No, well,
that's why they're losing with the voters.
The answer is to
Similar, he's
be
taking a
honest
crap
about it.
all the time.
We're not going to talk about the child trying to figure out the pronoun, and that's a legitimate issue. We're going to talk about the rest of the class that doesn't know what a pronoun is.
You lost me right there. It's a legitimate
And we're going
issue.
to we're going to make sure the classroom.
So some guys are saying this guy could be the next guy in 2028 as a president on what he's going to be doing. Now this is him saying this, right? This is him saying this. Tom, when you hear this, what do you think about?
I hear that I think I heard one Democrat sounding like a rational candidate. What he just said is correct. There's hundreds of thousands NCAA athletes and 10 transgender athletes. So what is he saying there? He advised Obama. We have to remember what he did. He really kept Obama as close to the center in terms of perception as he could. And then when you have a crisis, use it to get through what you want to get through. And he was brilliant at that. And that is a great statement there. That is a mainstream, vote-appealing, sound, reasonable statement. Hundreds of thousands NCAA athletes, maybe your kids, ma'am, and there's only 10 of these transgender. Why are we pandering to them and causing all these problems? And everybody else goes, here, thank you, sir. And then he says, we got the poorest education scores. Now he throws a number out to go after it. That Obama did that very, very well under the tutelage of Rahm Emanuel. So I think I see a possible candidate here. And he's run a blood sport match. He ran for mayor of Chicago, which is blood sport politics. So I think I just saw a glimpse of a guy that could be a candidate. And I saw a glimpse of a guy who's far more capable in messaging than Gavin Newsom has been. I think that's what I saw.
Yeah, and I read a book by Steven Schwartzman, said What It Takes, and in there, Steve Schwartzman, Rob, I don't know what he's worth. He's worth, he's probably $30 billion guy. Yeah, Steve Schwartzman's a $30 billion guy. And Schwartzman, not Schwartz, Schwartzman, man at the end, yeah.
That's Blackstone, right?
$43 billion, yeah.
Yowza.
So he's a money guy.
$40 billion?
Yeah, $43 billion guy.
Okay, all right,
He got
Mr.
into
Schwartzman.
a massive fight with him and Rahm Emanuel many years ago, 20 years ago, something like that, 15 years ago, when the two went at it at a hotel lobby or something like that, when he disagreed with what Obama was doing. And I learned about Rahm Emanuel's political side a lot from the book that he broke down on what's going on there. But they're right now looking for their candidates to see what's going to be happening. I'm going to go to this next story. Kash Patel sits down with Joe Rogan, same time where J.D. Vance sits with Theo Vaughn. But Kash Patel sits with Rogan. Rogan's pushing him on Epstein. And here's what the exchange sounded like. A lot of people are like, well, what is going on here? In the interview with Rogan, he addressed speculation about video evidence from Jeffrey Epstein's Little St. James Island, known as the Pedo Island, in the U.S. Virgin Islands, stating that while footages exist, it is not. Here's the clip. Watch it. Go for it.
The narrative has always been that there's video. But what about the video from the island?
Again, we're going to give you everything we can. And people have to remember, we're not going to re-victimize women. We're not going to put that shit back out there. It's not happening.
Blur their faces.
Not doing it. You want to hate me for it? Fine. Again, logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
I don't think so.
Right. If you have it.
Right.
But you can't say that you have it.
No, we're giving you everything we have.
And is there video from the island?
Not of what you want.
What does
so
that even mean?
This narrative might not be accurate, that there's video of these guys doing this.
Exactly.
Have you guys reviewed everything that you have?
Almost. Yes, we have, and now we're figuring out how to.
He's not a good interviewer.
Does anybody believe him, though?
But
That's the question.
is there footage?
Rob, go to the.
If there was footage of anyone doing anything else, we would have opened a case.
There are tens of thousands of videos. Yeah, and it's all with little kids.
If there was a video of some guy
or
gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
Not anymore. Do you
Rob,
understand?
can you go to the clip I just sent you, Rob?
that
Can you go to
O'Keefe?
the clip I just sent you? And Vinny, I'm going to come to you right
Yeah,
now, so
yeah.
hang tight. But if you go to the clip I sent you, while that's being shown, he shows the O'Keefe, you know, that, by the way, James O'Keefe, everybody, is on Connect and responding. So if there's anybody that wants to connect O'Keefe, just go on Connect and type in. So pull this up when it starts to pan Bondi, because everything with Patel is what we just watched, so we don't need to see it. Fast forward to when Bondi starts speaking, after he said okay, go right there. Go ahead, watch this.
No, the FBI, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. Okay. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now.
Who do you
FBI
believe, Kash or Bondi?
Well, here's the thing. One of them is lying, okay? That is his boss. She's the attorney general. She's the highest ranking law enforcement officer in the United States. He's the director of the FBI. Which one of you is lying? Because it has to be one of you. Because, mind you, she got caught talking that shit inside of a freaking restaurant with some random person.
Yeah, she told some random lady.
So is
we
this
got
a cover?
videos
That's
galore.
what you're saying. So is she lying right here to cover that she got
caught
busted on the secret camera?
Exactly. But what do you think, Tom? Well, one of them is lying, okay? And here's my thing. Listen, and everybody always wants to talk about proof and give me can we go off intuition? Can we go off feeling? Does anybody believe Kash Patel right there? I don't care how well-spoken he is in this moment. I don't believe it. I don't believe it because your boss even said it. And so does he want me to believe that all the cameras, all that setup, that big room that Jeffrey Epstein, that demon had in his freaking Epstein porn island, whatever the hell, pedophile island, where are all those tapes? Where are all those tapes?
Who looks bad here, though?
And
who looks bad
They
here?
both look bad. They both look bad, but it all goes on her because that's the boss. And here's my thing. Okay, you guys ready for this? If that's the case and nothing wrong, then if I was Ghislaine Maxwell and her lawyer, get me out of jail right now. I want to be sent, take me out of prison right now because I'm in here for nothing. There's no tapes. There's nobody doing illegal shit. Then why is she in jail? What did she do? What's the crime? There's no crime. All of a sudden, everything with Epstein involved, there's nothing. He killed himself. Everybody shut up and move on. Then get her ass out of jail then, if that's the case, because she's in there for nothing. All right? It's bullshit, Pat. And this goes to prove whoever is running the real making decisions, whoever is talking to her and telling her and him to talk like this, those are the people that have the most power because they have the actual footage of everybody doing nasty shit.
Here's what it does to Tom.
Unbelievable.
If Kash is saying, by the way, this is a terrible look for the president.
Yes, it is.
Because this looks like you're contradicting each other. And you just sent Kash to go on Joe Rogan podcast, and that's how he handled himself? Ugh. There isn't a single person that even has remote 5% knowledge of body language that sits there and watches that and says, I believe him, especially the way he answered the questions.
Yeah.
Never answered the questions.
Nope.
Didn't answer the questions. And Pam Bondi. So if that's the case, Kash, we met once at UFC. I like your work. I think you love America, but I think you're in a shitty situation right now. Here's what I want to do. If there's nothing on those tapes, release Ghislaine Maxwell. Let us interview her.
Yep.
But you can't do one or the other. Either Pam is telling the truth, that there is disturbing videos with children, her words. Either you're telling the truth, that there's nothing there. If she's telling the truth, drop what you have. If you're telling the truth, release Ghislaine Maxwell. It's that simple. Then it's unfair. If you're telling me nothing happened, Ghislaine should be free. Should free Ghislaine. Let some great folks that do great interviews go interview her, and let the market decide. Right? Freedom of assembly, freedom of media, press for them to do what they want to do. Free press, do that. But there's no way you can keep saying that, and Ghislaine is still in jail. It's unfair, Kash. It is unfair. It's not. It's
un-American.
It's un-American. It's unfair that she went to jail like so many other criminals that didn't do the crime. Mm-hmm. If she didn't do the crime, release her. So you one of these. This is where contradiction catches on, where the market says, which one is it?
Yep.
Tell me. Tom, thoughts?
We were at the Kentucky Derby and we ran into a congressman in the hallway.
Yes,
remember this? And it was very interesting. He had a couple of people standing around him. So I said, hey, appreciate your work. Appreciate your voice for conservative America. He says, thank you very much. And there was another guy talking to him there. Another guy made a comment about, hey, I thought Pam Bondi was going to release this stuff. That was the exact question to him. He sits there, he puts his hands in his pockets, he kind of leans back there, wearing a suit, tie, looking nice for Kentucky Derby. And he goes, well, you know, Kash works for her, so he's kind of waiting on whatever the policy will be. He says something like that, right? On whatever the directive is going to be. So you got to go to her and say, well, what do you got? When's it coming out? And there was some other, he turns his head a little bit, I didn't hear the full thing. He says, you know, Congress has closed hearings all the time. So it's like, where is it? So that, at least that's what a congressman was willing to say. No microphones, nothing like that. Well-dressed people approaching him very nicely. Nobody was putting a camera phone in his face. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I see that and I sit back, Pat, and I said, yeah, why don't you tell the American people we're having closed hearings? We're having a closed hearings. They do that. Senate Select Committee and things. There's ways to do this. And just making both like this, I agree with Pat. It's just a bad look.
It's a very bad look, Adam. Very. And you know what it means? Do you think Trump sat down him and her and says, guys, what are we doing? Or Susie Wiles, what are we doing? Like United Front. United Front messaging. Like, did Pam and Kash have a conference call saying, here's the message we need to be on point with? United Front. This is what we're addressing this. Boom, boom, boom. You say this, I say this. You have to drop something. Ghislaine Free, drop the clips. But tell us what's going on. Adam.
Yeah, this comes down to one simple thing, if we're going to go here, is the tweet that Elon made about Trump, about being in the Epstein docs. If Elon would have kept that up, this would be a whole different ballgame right now. But Elon deleted that tweet. Why? Why come out and say something like this as if we're going to forget that Elon Musk called out Donald Trump for being on Epstein Island? Oh, did we forget? And then when he's asked, Kash Patel by Joe Rogan, hey, do you see what's going on here? Did you see his response? He gave no response. I don't know if we have that clip, Rob.
Right here?
Yeah, he says, I'm not going to comment
Go
on
ahead.
that. That's above my pay grade. That's above my pay grade.
We were talking about fake news. This is going to come up because it's been going on since we've been recording here. Elon and Trump seem to be in a bit of a spat, Joe. You want to check the tweet that Elon just put out a little bit ago?
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
I'm not participating in any of that conversation
What is
between Elon
Have
and
a nice day, DJD. Someone should take his phone away.
They're going back and forth about different things. And
yeah. Listen,
well, he said he was disappointed in Elon.
Yeah, they told him to leave.
Jesus Christ, that's a crazy thing to say. How does he know? Does he know that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? Or does he have access to the Epstein files?
I don't know how he would, but I'm just staying out of the Trump-Elon thing. That's way outside my lane.
What the fuck are they doing?
I know my lane in that area.
What does that mean?
And by the way, he was
that's not your lane. What's his job again? He's the what?
Director of the
Director
FBI.
of the FBI. I think he would know a thing or two. I think this is exactly your lane, dude. So I think Kash is an absolute stud, but I think he's being used as a pawn in a situation that is way bigger than he ever thought. Hold on. So he's if he actually was loyal to Trump, he would have come out and say, I can tell you unequivocally that Trump is not in the Epstein documents. Next question. But he didn't say that. So which makes me think that, let me ask the following questions. Do you think Kash knows more now that he's in office or before he took office?
In office.
Of course, so he knows a little bit
obviously.
more now.
Yes.
Do you think he's playing more politics now or before he took the role?
No.
Okay. Do you think that he's saying what's on his mind more now?
No, before.
Or before?
Before,
okay.
because he was
so
talking
the
the big
point is
game.
this. His whole mantra, his whole vibe, his whole situation has changed exponentially when he took the oath. When he went in there and he's like, all right, so let me see what's going on. Oh, shit. I didn't know that. Hold on. Let me shut my mouth and not just
what are you
go
saying?
off on it.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that Kash knows a lot more than he's
but
revealing.
What are you saying? We know that, but what are
Okay.
you saying?
So I want to
Everyone
know.
knows
I
that.
want to know who Kash is at the end of the night saying, "Okay, sir, Thank you, sir.
Good question.
I got it, sir.
Now you're
Thank you,
asking the
sir.
right question.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.
Because you're
I want to know who that is.
Because Adam,
is it Trump?
That's the million.
Is it someone else?
No, that's the $1 million question.
Who's Kash being like, yes. Okay, got it.
Because
you're going on Joe Rogan. It's not like you're keeping things a secret, buddy.
So-
You're going to the biggest podcast in the world.
Kash
Well,
Patel,
if it's
like,
Pam
who are you talking
Bondi,
to?
if it's Pam Bondi, she's not doing a very good job of getting a unified message.
It ain't Pam Bondi.
If the
That chick has been
Democrats
in
can get
in
50
office for
news
two months.
If the Democrats can get 50 news outlets to say the same thing the same way on the same day, can we get two people to have the same playbook?
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. But Adam, you made a good point. When he went, oh my God, look at all this information. Somebody went, hey, you saw it. You see it?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Don't you dare.
Yeah.
Because guess what? The whole system is going to fall down. Which, I'm pro knock it all down if it's built on that foundation. But here's the thing. What
do you mean knock it all down?
Adam, let me explain something.
So
to you.
you're an anarchist.
No. If we are built on pedophilia and blackmailing the most powerful
What do you
people,
mean we are built? Define that. Do you
I'm
mean our
saying-
entire country,
No,
our
no,
entire
I'm
government,
just saying-
our entire
I'm saying
FBI,
this.
CIA?
I'm saying this.
Or this is one little operation that
Adam,
they don't want to
Adam,
expose.
Whoever he was working for, Epstein, Mossad, CIA, everything. Apparently, the most powerful people on the world were flying to an island and having sex with underage kids because she said it. There's tens of thousands of hours of them doing it. If we're built on that and the most powerful people that are running the show are in charge, the guy's telling Kash Patel, the thing that you just read, shut up. Shut up about it. Hold on, you know who I am. He knows who I am. I want accountability for everybody. If it's Trump, if it's Bill Gates, if it's Bill Clinton, I don't give a shit if it's the president of anything. Expose them because, Adam, the truth has to come out.
Okay, so I only have one question for you,
Yes.
my dear friend. I agree with you, but at what price?
Take a deep breath. Vinny. Drink
But
a
hold on,
little
hear me
water.
out. At what price?
At any price, Adam.
So you're saying to expose whatever happened on Epstein Island, you're willing to do whatever this looks like.
Yes.
Tear down the government, expose all the secrets, put America basically in harm's way just to find out what's Epstein.
What do you mean, Adam?
Because these are the most powerful people in the world that are apparently on this island.
Adam, so let the truth be told or the heavens fall. I don't care.
Okay,
Yeah,
well-
Adam, and that's who Vincent Oshana is. I am 100% accountability, and I don't give a if Adam. If that's what we were built on,
But at what price?
I don't
At
give a
tearing
shit. There is
down
no
America?
price. Guess what the price is, Adam? God.
So
God's
you want
the price.
to rule?
You're going to answer them
you
anyway.
want to rule a city of ashes?
I don't give a shit if it's built on
see-
pedophilia and raping kids. Yes, because
You're being emotional.
no, I'm not. I'm being
You
real.
have to understand.
I'm being
The
real.
whole concept of do you want to cut your nose off to spite your face? There might be an issue. But do you want to cut your whole nose off and ruin your entire face because you care that much about this
Adam,
entire
if
issue?
the machine is running right now because pedophiles are running the show and they're telling him, shut the hell up because we're all pedophiles, knock it down. And my last thing, pal, what bothered me about what he said is we're not going to re-victimize the girls and the victims. We're not going to do it.
Kash?
Kash. Guess what? Nobody wants to see any girl. I don't want to see any kids, male, boy, underage. Blur them out. But who's the guy that's touching them? Who's the guy that's molesting them and raping them? This is a horrible argument. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't give a shit what he's saying.
He's right.
One of them is lying.
He's
blur
right.
the face.
Yeah.
If Bill Gates is in
That's
there,
right.
blur the fucking
He's
kid's
right.
face.
He's
What are we
right.
talking
Vinny,
about?
it's such a. By the way, guys, at this point, there is so many leaks in this argument that he's making. And there was like 5 questions I wanted to ask him. There's so many leaks in this argument he's making that
Kash you're talking about.
yeah, it's the more he talks, the more I believe they have it and they don't want to release it for whatever reason. And by the way, unless if they address that, there's a bit of a the bomb Musk dropped. There's going to be a small percentage of people that are going to be like, what was that all about? So they have to release it. Anyways, I'm going to transition to the next story here. Not physically, it's just story.
I
I'm
was just
going
going
to
to say, because I do have a story about the
here.
Tony Awards.
I don't want people to get confused. So let's go to this next one here. All right. Secret Russian intelligence documents shows deep suspicion of Russia, of China. This is kind of weird, guys, but there's a part of me that likes this story. And of course, we're first going to go to Tom on this, but let me read it to you, Tom, and then I'm going to tee you up. A secret FSB, Federal Security Service document reveals Russian intelligence deep suspicion of China, describing Beijing as the enemy and a serious threat to Russian security, with concerns that Chinese intelligence is recruiting Russian spies targeting military technology by luring scientists and spying on Russia's Ukraine operations to study Western weapons. The document obtained by New York Times details the FSB Entente 4 counterintelligence program launched 3 days before Russia's 2022 Ukraine invasion to intercept the threat and prevent the transfer of important strategic information to the Chinese. The FSB document highlights China's espionage effort, including hacking WeChat data to monitor Russia's users and target specialists in fields like aerohydrodynamics and Ekranolpan development with priority recruitment aimed at former employees of aircraft factories and research institutes. What? Who are dissatisfied or financially strained. Tom, thoughts?
So let's watch how this works. Let's say, this isn't math.
So if you say one number, Tom, I was going to get up and leave.
No, just not going to say one.
Go ahead.
And you know,
the square root of something with pi. I was
I have a number for
Tom,
you.
go to the story.
As it relates to Adam, 9mm. Anyway, so the Chinese here. So let me give you an example. People understand. This happens all the time in sports. So you have people on sports teams, and I know that you're with the San Francisco Giants. Mm-hmm. I'm with Texas Rangers.
Okay.
Yep.
And I know you played the Dodgers all the time. Mm-hmm. You and I, we agree to work on something together, and I get information on the Dodgers from you. Okay. You don't care because I'm in the American League.
Yeah, we're not
bothered about that. So guess what? It's a triangulation of sharing information, scouting, and some things in professional sports that are downright against the rules. What China did here is gets together with Russia to say, we are both an enemy of the United States. And then what China wants is to understand all of Russia's military technology and any spying they did on the U.S. And then China uses the same things that they did, our friend Eric, and, Bang Fang or whatever was going on there, right? Whatever that was, is, he got compromised. So they found a weak guy in Eric, put him together with the spy lady, honeypot, and get the information they want.
Fang.
So what China is doing here, the FSB of Russia, China is partnering with Russia, but at the same time spying on them, right? So that they are now ready for whatever triangle happens. So they're also ready to fight any country that uses Russian technology. So and remember, the sum of all spying makes you the best. Yes. Whoever has the most information on spying, whether it's corporate espionage on, EVs, Tesla versus, Lucid and everything like this, whoever has the most spying and the most knowledge information by definition will be the most powerful. And that's what's going on here. So basically, Russia is saying, hey, I'm glad we did the energy deal with these guys because they pay cash. That's pretty good. But they're using some of that cash to come back and spy on and compromise some of our people.
Okay.
And then, you know what the U.S. CIA says? Well, China being China.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's going on here. So this is the Russians need China for certain things, Pat. They want them to be an energy customer, but at the same time they go, hey, these SOBs are spying on us the way they spy on America. Yeah. And that's exactly what happens.
I love that. You know why I love this? You know why I love this? Because I love that Russia doesn't trust China. And
not deep.
They're bricks. Mm-hmm. I love that they don't trust China, and they know China's up to no good even with them. Because if they were good, where does he go to now? Where does Putin go to now? It's good the fact that two of our top 4 enemies in the world are not as united as people think they are. I love that. That's safer for America. If these two guys were fully unified on the same page, we have a problem here. So this could be actual good news. Adam.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Even Russia knows you can't trust China whatsoever. So if you just go back in history, in the 1980s, Russia was the big brother to China's little brother. The roles have completely flipped. It is completely obvious at this point that China is the massive power player and economic force in the world, and certainly in the region. Don't forget that they share a border. So, you know, what's the whole criticism of China is that they're just stealing intellectual property and intellectual theft. We look at that as an American. They're also doing it to Russia and doing it everywhere they can. That's what China does. Don't forget they share a border. And you know how we're in Ukraine and what's the deal that we just did with Ukraine?
The what? What did you say?
We're in Ukraine.
The deal, what?
We just did a deal with Ukraine.
Oh, yeah. What the
minerals?
The minerals?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
3 weeks ago.
So
But I
don't
said
forget
something
that
else.
Russia and China would also like to do something in the region they call the stands. The Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan. Very nice. What they want to do is utilize that region for natural resources and for minerals. And there's going to be a conflict over that. Speaking of conflict, they don't have exactly a great history of being friendship, like of being friends. They've actually fought a war, I think it was in the late 60s, early 70s, over a certain region. So there's, as natural resources and, you know, the whole water situation becomes a bigger issue around the world, look for Russia and China not to be as aligned as you think they are.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing for the world, by the way. The fact that they're not. I think that's a very good thing for the world, the fact that they're not. Okay, let me get to the next story here on Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines issues fresh dig at Simone Biles as trend feud rolls on. Rob, if you showed the first tweet when Simone Biles went after Riley and then Riley's tweet blows up, okay? It's like an understatement. If you can just go to Simone's Twitter account, if you could. If you go to Simone's Twitter account and show the first one. Let me see there, Rob. You had a picture on that one, right?
I did. Here, let me pull up her account.
She's not that active on Twitter. That's why I'm saying if you go to her account.
I think she pinned it.
Yeah, she pinned it. So she says, so first of all, Riley says comments off to be expected when your star player is a boy.
And that's in regards to this photo, which is a
Minnesota State high school champion, whatever.
Yeah, the picture.
Meet Champlain Park, the class AAAA softball state champion for 2025. So which one's the boy here? The one far left, or which one is it?
I think it looks like it is. He's huge.
Let's not dead name.
Well, no.
Okay, I don't know who it is.
I think. Let's see.
So
I
they
can tell. You can't.
And they turn off comments.
I think he's the pitcher, and he was throwing heat.
Okay.
I can't really tell they're all.
So anyway, so she says comments off, LOL, to be expected.
Who has the Adam's apple in that picture?
And then Simone Biles says the following: "You're truly sick. All of this campaigning because you lost the race. Straight up sore loser. You should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sports. Maybe a transgender category in all sports. But instead, you bully them. One thing's for sure is no one in sports is safe with you around." Riley Gaines responds, "This is actually so disappointing. It's not my job or job of any woman to figure out how to include men in our spaces. You can uplift men stealing championships in women's sports with your platform. Men don't belong in women's sports, and I say that with my full chest," okay, is what she said. So then they went back and forth a little bit more, Rob. Was there any other thing that she dropped? Because this has been going on for a minute here.
Yeah, at one point, Simone Biles, I believe she accuses Riley Gaines of looking like a man or questions her. She body shames her, basically. I'm looking for that.
Who body shames who?
Simone Biles body shames Riley Gaines. Here it is.
Stop
Yeah, right here. Bully someone your own size, which would ironically be a male. And then Riley Gaines responds.
This is so disappointing. This is the one that I just read here in America. My take is the least controversial on the planet. Simone Biles being a male apologist at the expense of young girls' dreams. Didn't have that on my bingo card. Maybe she should compete. She could compete in the Pommel horse in rings in 2028, meaning guys would whoop her ass. Is kind of what she's saying right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Tom, thoughts?
Well, I never cease to be amazed at the bad timing of criticism. I'm never amazed at the bad timing of criticism when you live in a bubble. And apparently, Simone Biles is living in kind of a liberal bubble where trans is okay and men defeating women and, you know, shattering dreams is okay. And you know what's really disgusting here? This is from Simone Biles, who's this wonderful African-American athlete that showed yet again that doesn't matter what color you're in the United States, if you have the ability, you can win gold medals and get the support of our Olympics committee and everything that goes with it. And so you've lived out dreams, Simone. You've been enabled on dreams, and you're taking a position and getting into it with Riley Gaines, who was denied dreams, and there was other women that were in that race that were denied their dreams, NCAA championships, because a guy was in the race. So you, who are a beacon and a great ambassador for the diversity of sport, and you've won Olympic medals, and to demonstrate, doesn't matter what color you are in America, women, you can do it. You can do it. You are the one out there saying to Riley Gaines, well, you lost out on your game. You should be applauding the fact. You should. How many people need to come out and say, this is just silly? How many athletes, how many commentators, retired athletes, everybody comes out and says, you know what? It's one thing to say, oh, trans need comfort and they need this and acceptance, and I'm not going to go there. It's quite another thing to say, oh, well, you should protect them over here while they're denying women their dreams. That's how I feel about this. And I think it's so 2022. You picked the wrong time to do it. The way the tide is going out on this argument, and you picked now to do it, that also shocks me, the timing of it. It's
Adam.
really shocking.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty par for the course. It's like picking the 20% of the 80% issue and doubling down on what you're wrong on. And this is exactly what Simone Biles is doing. By the way, just a little fun fact. I've spent some time with Riley Gaines. Beautiful person on the inside and out. She was there with her significant other, but we were at the inauguration having a great time. Rob, this is when you play the clip that I sent you. So... great person, awesome person, lovely person.
3 seconds and a selfie. Yeah. The story of Adam's life.
Tom, I don't know why you talk sometimes, but anyway, keep it going. I don't think it's a far-fetched conclusion to say that if men and women competed, I don't think women would ever win anything ever again. Sorry about that. I think men are bigger, faster, stronger, and more athletic and better in sports. Sorry if that offends people. If you ever hear the story about Serena Williams when she said on one of the late night shows how she would perform against Andy Murray, she would lose 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, and she's the best female tennis player in the world. So what I don't understand is what
she's a goat.
Simone Biles means by you should either uplift the trans community and find a way to make sports more inclusive. No, you don't do that. Or create an entirely new avenue where trans feel safe in sports, maybe a transgender category in all sports. Bingo. So she's giving two solutions, but only one makes sense. Because I guarantee you, if Simone Biles had to compete against all dudes, I don't know if she would ever place in any medal ever again. And it works the same way in soccer. It works the same way in the WNBA. I'm sorry, ladies. You're very good at what you do against other women. Respect. Love you. Awesome. Especially the ones in the leotards. But if you start playing against dudes, you're going to get your ass kicked. And that's just the reality. You saw what happened in California, the guy who won the high jump?
Yeah.
And then his junk fell out?
His junk fell out?
Yeah. It was out there. It was out there.
What are you doing? Like looking at guys' junk? Like, I mean, there's... content recommends those videos to you. I've never been recommended that video.
Not only was it recommended, I zoomed in, Pat.
Oh, I got it.
I do my due diligence.
Listen.
I'm a VT dad. I respect this thing, okay?
Yeah, well, I respect it. It is.
Again, Simone Biles is taking the wrong side of an 80-20 issue.
I'm going to go.
Yeah. Wrong side, but just really fast. Yeah. She's the most decorated U.S. gymnast in Olympic history. She has 11 gold Olympic medals.
Simone?
7, including 7 gold, 2 silver, 2 bronze. But this just proves you can destroy your entire legacy with just saying some dumb ass shit. Because, and by the way, she's going back on her word. This is the 2017 tweet when she's talking about medals and people winning. She goes, "Oh, good thing guys don't compete against girls, or he'd take all the gold medals."
Oh, so exactly what I just said.
So she's going back on exactly what the hell she said. So, but here's my question: who's in her ear telling her, "Hey, listen, take this stance and do that"?
It's the L, the G,
no,
the
because
B, the T,
something
the I,
changes
the
from
A,
you
the
from
Q,
that to
the
that.
plus.
But then now there goes your whole freaking legacy Now, like when you think of Bill Clinton, now you think of Monica
That was my
Lewinsky.
point. She achieved dreams, and it's so
Yeah.
amazing, and what she did.
And then you ruined
Well,
it.
let me do 2 stories and we'll wrap up. But we have to be quick on these next 2 stories. So quick on the draw.
Pow.
I'm a psychologist
Pow, pow.
who studies couples.
Uh-oh.
Here's what the people fight about the most in relationships, and number one will surprise you. It's according to CNBC, guys. It's Father's Day. So, ladies, be nice to the fathers. Even after you read this article, don't fight them. Go get him some new merch that we showed you earlier and get a gift for him. However, here we go. Number 4, communication styles. Communication styles, arguments derail issues like chores when met with defensiveness or stonewalling. Use a 5-second rule. Pause and start all over. Seeking mutual understanding. I want to understand why you're upset.
Do the dishes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tell me why you're upset, babe. Number 3, household chores. Chore fights arise from uneven labor, with one partner bearing the unacknowledged, invisible load of managing tasks and well-being. Acknowledge it, saying, I didn't realize how much you were holding. And redistribute task sustainability. Oh, my God.
It's like a relationship with Canada.
So be okay. Number 2, family relations. Family disputes reflect misalignments, with partners feeling unsupported. Parenting clashes stem from dismissed core beliefs. Reassure as in, you're my partner. And set team limits for solidarity.
Oh, that's not term limits. Sorry.
And number one, tone of voice or attitude. A sour tone or eye-rolling signals contempt a divorce predictor, sparking fights. Name the effect, saying, that felt condescending. Can we try again? If delivering it, identify underlying frustration to avoid them. Okay? Tom, thoughts on this article with tone of voice?
I will say that an opening in my marriage and in most that I've seen others, there have been so many times where something that's a legitimate issue, that how it's communicated or the tone of voice you use or the body language that at that moment just escalates it. And this article is very, very correct. If you can control your reaction just for a second and then control your tone and what you say, you can probably now eliminate, 70% of the issue and just get down to the issue, itself. And it was, I knew a couple where a sunroof was left open on a vehicle parked like at a airport over the course of like 3 days, and it like rained for 3 days. And I'm serious. The vehicle was totaled because of electronics damage. Oh, man. And apparently it was, the state was, I just got off the phone with the insurance company. You totaled the car. And it was, I don't like how you said that. It's like, God. Wait a minute. You totaled the car. You have $40,000 that got to be reconciled, and we're going to be responsible for a deductible in this. So you have those moments in marriage. It's going to blow up. And it's going to be a bad day because it's big. Yes. But then other little things can be avoided if you just took a deep breath.
Adam, VT Dad, how do you process this?
Listen, as a VT Dad, I got to tell you, this is my best advice I can give you on relationships for men and women. I don't have any advice on men or female and female relationships because I've only been with women, despite what the crowd thinks. Forget all these stupid rules. Forget all this advice, and just remember one thing. There it is. What are you doing?
They can't see the VT Dad shirt you got on.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
iPad's in the way.
Sure,
Go
VT
ahead.
Dad. I'm not just any dad. I'm a cool dad. Here's the best advice I can give you when it comes to relationships. Forget about all these stupid rules. Remember this one thing. Because someone gave me this book, and they said, read this book and your relationships will be better. I read the first chapter. I threw away the book. And what was that book? Men are from Mars. Women are from Venus. We're completely different animals. Most men are logical, and most women are emotional. And just remember, when speaking with the women, it's not about trying to solve her problems. She doesn't want you to solve her problems. She just wants you to listen and give a hug at the end. Do you remember what Chris Rock said? If you think you're going to have a conversation with a woman, just remember to say this. Okay. You don't say, get out of here. And then you always have to add, I told you that bitch crazy. Now what happens is women don't want you to solve their problems. They want you to comfort them. If Vinny had a problem, I wouldn't be like, come here, let me give you a hug. I'd be like, yo, let's figure this thing out. Men are very logical actors. Women are emotional. And that's great when they complement each other. So these
went full-on advice mode.
Yes.
You're like that lady that wrote a book on marriage who's been divorced 7 times and is telling other people how to make their marriage
Thank
work.
you.
So just because I've been in a lot of failed relationships doesn't mean I haven't learned anything. You know, it's actually, the truth is, they don't say you whether win or lose, you win or learn.
Yeah.
So having been in a lot of relationships and a failed
Let me see
marriage
what Vinny's gonna
and
say.
all this, it allows you to learn that we're come from completely different planets.
Your thoughts.
We're dealing with aliens
I
over here,
mean,
guys.
I just the one thing I took away was the tone of voice and the attitude. It goes a
Yes.
sour tone attitude, slightly raised voice. So if you want, okay, so it had to be like this. Where's my dinner? Instead of where's my dinner?
No.
What do you mean? That's a whole
That's
different.
even way wrong.
No, what do you mean?
Hey, so how do you feel about dinner?
Even though she didn't make
It'd be
it.
great.
I'm good.
If there was dinner somewhere, not saying you have to make it.
What do you think, Bat?
How do you feel about dinner?
I listen. I get the tone. You know, I get the tone where it's, you know, we're Middle Eastern, and I married a white girl, and if you've ever been to Middle Eastern families, about 80% of our communication style sounds like we're fighting. We're
Yes.
just having a regular conversation, and it really doesn't help that our words sound like. We don't like each other.
Ja.
They just made lunch plans.
Yeah,
I thought they were about to go to war.
So that's the part where it clashes, and it's always great when you see Tom's family with our family, and we're just kind of going back and forth, and you see the languages come up. Like me and my dad, half the time we're speaking, you would think it's a fight, but it's just a very civil conversation that we're having.
But Tom's white, and it kind of levels out our madness.
Yeah.
It brings us.
Well, it is what
to
it is.
even
By the way,
playing field.
just a quick shout out. I love your dad. I haven't seen him in a few months. Gabriel, if you're watching, I love you. I miss you. Hope you're doing great.
Yeah, awesome. And last but not least, guys, Fox News. Rob, if you want to pull this up and we'll show her. We're going to brag a little bit, folks, if you don't mind. If you don't want to hear us bragging, you can go about your business. But Fox News tops all news brands on YouTube with staggering 362 million views during the month of May is what Fox did. So imagine an institution that big. Rob, do you have the numbers or no? Do you have the article? Is there a place that shows that if you can go up to it? So Fox, number one, I think 362. Then you got ABC, NBC, CBS, next in the rankings. ABC delivered 114 million views, NBC 111 million views, CBS 54 million views. And New York Times finished May with 13 million views. Fox News, 98% year-over-year advantage on YouTube. Fox. Can you pull up our charts, Rob? I don't know if you have it or not. Do you know which one I'm talking about? Check this out. This is actually very interesting, Vinny. So this is just a couple months ago. MSNBC was first at 485 million views in the month of March. Fox News was second, 416. Look where we were at.
Weird.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Only 2 channels combined, 358 million views. Just YouTube. This is not TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, nothing.
Spotify, nothing.
No, CNN, Al Jazeera, BBC, CBC, CBS, NBC. And by the way, if you go month of April, May, we have these. But congrats to Fox. And by the way, this is telling you what direction the world is going. YouTube is TV's most watched platform, 12%. Then it's Disney, Paramount, exactly. NBC, Netflix, Fox, Warner Brothers, Amazon, which means the future kind of looks bright for this small little media company called Valuetainment. We got some interesting things that we're doing. Her Take yesterday, Jillian did a phenomenal job doing an emergency podcast on Her Take with Amy and Lindy Lee. And you know who joined them? Cool. Kind of Grant Cardone was on their podcast yesterday.
Really?
We were talking about the state of California.
Talking California,
Yeah,
talking real
it was
estate.
actually very, very interesting with Grant being on. So anyways, guys, hey, we're going to have Tommy Robinson's going to be dropping tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Thursday, we're back at it again.
With a guest. Michael Knowles from the Daily Wire.
Get
will be
out of
joining-
here.
Yes, Michael Knowles
All right.
on the
All
home
right.
team.
So Michael's going to be Thursday. We'll have some interesting conversations with Michael. Michael's a sweetheart. Right?
I'm on with him a lot on the peers.
So, okay, we'll do that. And then in the interim, fathers, today's Tuesday, place your orders so we get it before Father's Day weekend. That's why we did it today. And last but not least, webinar this Wednesday, June 11, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. How to be a killer in business without killing your marriage. Register for it on vtwebinar.com. Again, register for it for vtwebinar.com. It's going to be phenomenal. And everyone's going to get a white paper. They're going to get the PowerPoint at the end to be given to everybody. God bless everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.